maybe this is a controversial opinion. I'm not the biggest fan of Grave with the Fireflies.
I do not like Grave with the Fireflies. Let's go. Oh, my cat's screaming. She's angry about this.
Oh, your cat vehemently disagrees.
Yeah. The tier list, because it's a very specific type of tier list. Wikipedia only.
I guess we should explain what the criteria, because there seems to be a bit of fungibility in terms of what is and is not a Ghibli movie. So
we just went off Wikipedia.
Basically, and there are some strange inclusions that I guess we'll get to when we get to them.
Yeah, we're not including On Your Mark.
No, it's basically only feature-length movies. Not necessarily theatrical released movies, but at least feature-length. So over like an hour long, basically.
That's kind of interesting, I suppose, because On Your Mark was actually exclusively released in the theaters in front of Whisper of the Heart in Japan.
Was it really?
Yeah, that's where that's where it was shown.
Yeah, I flew all the way to Japan to the Ghibli Museum just to watch that cat bus short, and we're not even ranking it.
Damn, that fucking blows.
So many people have that marked, and it's just like, why are you lying about this?
I've seen it.
Yeah, I stole it. I went to the museum myself and stole it.
Yeah, you have, but like a lot of people probably haven't. Just as like a general rule, I guess, feature-length Ghibli movies. Also, they need to be animated.
Yeah, we're not
talking about fucking the story of Yanagawa Canal.
Yeah, that's just boring as fuck anyway. Put in the D rank.
Put in D rank. We're not going to talk about Hideaki Anno's like schizo live action drama Shikijitsu, which I did not know.
Talking about Ranja.
No, we're not talking about Ranja. No one's talking. No one talks about Ranja. How was
the first episode?
Ranja is a complicated beast because it's pretty close to the book, but it's also incredibly pulled out. It has this kind of that it feels like it might have done better as 12 episodes or 15, where like I think it actually was a pretty good adaptation, but towards the front and the back, it's really pulled out, which makes it kind of slow and sort of a bit iffy in those areas.
I probably would have watched it for this video if it wasn't too core, basically.
Yeah, it feels unnecessary to be that long. Fuck. Because the only other adaptations you're going to find are like 2-hour films, and it's a 200-page book, if that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they haven't really added a ton to it. It's pretty much just the beats of the things, little tiny bits, but it's not like they did like Attack a Hatter and added all these extra side stories.
Yeah, like a Kage no An or anything like that.
Yeah, it is pretty much the material.
Okay, interesting. Well, I guess let's start off with a movie that technically isn't a Ghibli movie, but it kind of is. Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind, or perhaps better known by its English title, Warriors of the Wind.
Has anyone actually seen that version of the film?
I've been meaning to, because someone actually took an HD release of Nausicaa and then recut it to the audio.
Oh, did they release that?
I've heard
about. Someone told me that they're doing that.
Yeah, so that seems interesting. I want to check that out at some point.
Shaves is supposed to do a video essay about how Warriors of the Wind is better than the
superior version.
I think he's talking about the Disney dub, 30 minutes.
No, he's totally talking about Warriors of the Wind. It'll be great.
That's what we should call the title, yeah. Epic.
The weird thing about Warriors of the Wind is, for some reason, I don't know how the hell they got away with this, no voice actors are credited for that version.
Oh, really? What, the Japanese?
Yeah, it's like you get to the credits and it's just the Japanese voice actors. It's not like the dub for that. So
I don't think anybody wanted to be associated with that.
No one wanted to be associated with this.
Yeah, it was probably all...
trying to pass this movie off as a Dune knockoff.
Yeah, maybe it was like they were all union and it was a non-union job, so they had to hide it.
That would not surprise me.
Because it was
the biggest... what's the weirdest... This is off topic. What's the weirdest adaptation? Is it Warriors of the Wind, or is it the live-action Angel's Egg adaptation?
That one's pretty weird too.
Well, I guess it's a matter of weird versus just cynically butchering a movie, basically. Because I feel
some kind of transformative art piece
one is which,
where you just take a movie.
Which one is which? When you say that, I don't know which one you're talking about.
Well, because I feel like it's In the Aftermath, I think is the name of the movie.
Yeah, you can
that seems more like a weirdo
British release of it now. You get like a 4K restoration.
Yeah.
Of it. I can buy now. I can't buy
through like Arrow Films. I think.
I can buy that, which is hilarious.
Yeah, what do we think about Nausicaa?
I'm a big Nausicaa. I'm like the Nausicaa stan. I'll stand by Nausicaa all day long. Yeah, absolutely.
You did make a video and pissed a lot of people off calling it Miyazaki's magnum opus.
Oh yeah, I was mainly talking about the manga, but like I think they're like two sides of the same coin in like really interesting ways. I remember first reading it.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I remember when I first read it, or tried to read it. I actually couldn't because when you see, I saw the film first, like most people, right? And the film is like very Mobius-esque. It's very like lovely, colorful, wistful, like lots of detail in the world. And then you try and read the book.
They animated every grain of sand.
Oh, that was... fucking shout outs to
Kenny. Yeah, and then the manga is much more
very dense. Very dense.
Yeah, very
panels.
dense, very brick-like.
Very, and I can't even... The original version, I think, would have been maybe even smaller, like the original tomes of it, because it was an animated originally, so it might have been roughly the same size as my release, but like I think the tomes might be much smaller. So I'm just thinking of this thing like it's a small little manga-shaped package with 12 tiny little cubes on the page with like a ton of writing on them and trying to read that shit.
Yeah. It's very dense from what I've seen of it. Mumi, have you read the Nausicaa manga? Because I've not like sat down and read it properly.
It's one of my favorites. Like,
oh yeah, it's great.
15-ish. It definitely panel work wise is not great. Like the art is really great, but like he doesn't have a good sense of like panel to panel.
Yeah,
like,
it's almost if I remember right, it's like an intentional decision because he went out of his way to not do flowing panels until about 400 pages in. He gives up on that and just makes it more like a regular comic.
Yeah, I think the movie works as like an abridged kind of version of like the first however so many chapters it was.
Well, from what I understand, the manga was very hard to adapt.
Yeah, and I don't think he even tried to adapt it because fundamentally, the movie's message and the like manga's message are like two different pathways.
Okay,
you can kind of see that in that, like, and I think he almost, in some ways, the manga responds to the movie. I don't know how.
The manga continues well after like the movie.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, we can spoil everything.
Oh, yeah, sure.
They haven't read the manga.
They haven't read the manga.
Yeah, no, you're going to read 2,000 fucking pages, are you? Come on. You wouldn't be here.
I mean, but it's interesting because Nausicaa is such a dense manga. I remember reading that, like, the original screenplay for it, which was handled by Kazunori Ito, was like 3 hours long. And
that's like every one of his films,
yeah. They're just like, you can't make that into an animated movie. So they then had to like, Miyazaki then had to like reduce that further to a lean 2 hours. This movie just pummels through. It is. I remember rewatching and just being like exhausted by the end of it.
There's a lot of shit happening, and it's very similar.
It's almost like unwieldy to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the furiousness of it. Maybe because I know they like animated in like 7 or 8 months, and they didn't have enough time to check
it had a hellish production cycle too.
Yeah, I mean technically that could be considered for every one of these films, though it's sort of a little bit like a mad beast in production because it, the technicalities we're talking about here is that technically this was animated by Topcraft, but when you got to put a bit of asterisks on there because what that really means to an audience isn't what they think it means. You have the Topcraft animators, and then you have this astroturfed chunk of people who work on Miyazaki projects that they bring in. So there's 6 or so freelancers. You've got a bunch of people who are then hired on Topcraft who worked on about 10 years of other Miyazaki films. So they have that, and then you get a bunch of other people coming in later on, like young bucks, like even Maida. You got Mahiro Maida comes in on this film, and he brings Arno on as well. Yeah, and you've got, I think, a couple of, you've got Kitaro Kosaka, who worked at O Production before, who becomes a huge player at Ghibli in the years to come. Almost got kicked off this film. And of course, you've got Canada.
Really? What did he do?
He was an animator, but he pissed off Miyazaki and almost got kicked out.
Okay.
But then he became his animation supervisor for like a decade. So take that as you will. One of them.
Yeah, because it's interesting because it's like it's kind of because Ghibli now owns this movie, right?
Yes, and there's reasons for that, which are kind of interesting.
Really, what's like the interesting reasoning behind it?
So this just kind of gets into the whole like, how does this become Ghibli? And it's strictly a branding thing. because obviously it doesn't exist. And what happens is Takuma Shoten, who is the company who owns Animage, they are the company that they sponsored and they tried to fund this film, but they did it in very deceitful ways in that they bolstered up the amount of sales it had. They basically lied about how much it sold to try and get more interest in people funding the film. And they got a advertising agent on board.
How much the manga sold?
They basically upped the number by 10.
Okay.
Like tenfold.
Tenfold. Oh, okay. It's not even like a little small.
No, they just fucking.
Oh no, they just order of magnitude increase.
Yeah, massive. So they did that, and then I think it happened to be that Miyazaki's brother worked at an advertisement firm, and he was able to like big up the project and get them on as a sponsor, and they made a production committee with them and Toei and Takuma Shoten, who was like one of the biggest. Takuma Shoten does movies and media, so they own all this magazine stuff, but they also fund a lot of films. So they had that kind of like multifaceted thing, and they're known kind of for having a very sort of bombastic head who will just fund projects if he likes the people behind them, which is kind of how this happens. So yeah, it's fudged numbers, it's bullshit, and then this film ended up doing way better than anyone could have expected it to do.
Right, yeah, it was a pretty big movie.
Yeah, especially for an anime film back then, because they were still relatively niche, but it sold maybe, I think it was like 1 million to 1.5 million tickets or something at the cinema, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit of a shit show behind the scenes because of that. But yeah, because Takuma Shoten also technically at one time owned Ghibli, it gets a bit messy. Basically, Takuma Shoten gave Ghibli its start by giving them a part of the company, which was horribly in debt and didn't tell them. And that's what built and becomes Ghibli. And because Takuma Shoten funded Nausicaa, they own the magazine, they own Nausicaa, and then it becomes a Ghibli film by proxy.
And then it gets transferred to Ghibli down the line, basically.
Yeah, and then a couple years after, Suzuki lies about it all and makes it sound like it was all because of Nausicaa, which it wasn't.
What'd you say? You like cut out briefly.
My throat was going a bit. Basically, Suzuki makes this thing up later where he goes like, "Oh, Ghibli was created by Nausicaa," which is just not true.
Because it kind of makes me think of like, I guess this is also true now. Is like it's like saying like Panty and Stocking or Gurren Lagann are Trigger anime, which
I mean they're probably owned by them now because they stole
they are
they
now
got
technically.
The IPs back,
they literally just announced like a new.
Yeah, because they finally got that rights back. They finally got them. They finally got them out of the jaws of whatever corpse is left of Gainax.
Yeah. So where do we put where do we put Nausicaa here?
I guess I'm it's probably one of my favorites, but I don't think everyone feels that way. But maybe because I like it's a bit. I like what I like about Nausicaa is usually that I like that the soundtrack is not a big orchestral thing. It's a bit more.
No, it's very electronic,
synthy. I like that all the animators have a bit more personality to some of their cuts because they haven't been sanded down. So you've got like pure Canada cuts in it. You've got Arno's infamous like melty demon fucking monster shot. You've got Takahashi or it's Nakamura and all these other people. I don't know. I mean, I'm like I'd probably put an S tier, but I don't think anyone else would. Maybe
if
it's
it
because
were
I've
the
also read it.
Nausicaa manga, I would definitely put an S tier.
I feel, in some ways, because I think for some people, they read the manga and they think the movie perhaps isn't as good, but I feel like they're almost two different sides of the coin. And that like the Nausicaa movie is very big and luscious and gets to be that kind of like piece, like a almost like a tone piece, in a more Mobius-esque sort of fashion, where the book is just more dense and very bitter. Like the spoiler I was going to say is that like in the movie the Olm are like, oh, such lovely nature creatures, and then in the manga then they're like, nah, these things were created by humans. Fuck that shit. Nah, they're going to fucking destroy the planet. They're going to turn it back to ash.
So it really is, just like the complete.
Yeah, they were like, nah, they're not pure nature or anything. They were man-made creations to try and save the planet.
Weaponized.
That still fits with the theme, but that's just the complete opposite take on it.
Yeah.
Well, even like everyone complains about like Nausicaa feeling like a quote-unquote Mary Sue, and then they like weaponize that in the manga.
She's literally like an apostle. She's like a fucking Joseph or something.
It's like a Dune sort of thing, like a.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, she can't save the world. That's the ultimate end of the manga. Is that like she denies technology to save the world because she doesn't trust that it can. She believes it will only wipe the planet, and thus the planet cannot be saved.
She literally commits genocide.
So just like Dune.
It's quite Dune-ish. I mean,
yeah,
you can
Which is why when they brought the movie over, they tried to sell it as such.
I quite like the Nausicaa movie. I'd probably put it in B tier though, like a high B.
High B. Well, we don't have a point of reference yet, so I guess we could put it in B, and then
we'll leave it there and see how it goes. Right?
See how it goes. Yeah, see where things actually like end up down the line. Next up, we have the first proper Ghibli movie, Laputa, Castle in the Sky.
Not to be confused with the DDR song.
There's one.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Castle in the Sky?
I have no idea what you're referring to.
Oh.
For the dance game?
Sorry, I didn't play DDR growing up. I was basically like someone who had like polio as a kid when it came to that stuff.
Down. That really does affect your whole worldview.
Can't move my legs, you know?
How did you cure it?
Did you get vaccinated?
Sheer force of will, basically.
Shit, you're just like an anime
I
protagonist.
ate 3 raw eggs every morning.
Did 1,000 crunches, 1,000 push-ups every morning?
Yes. I just replicated the Saitama's workout schedule.
This is the song I was talking about for reference.
Was it named after? Oh, I'm guessing it was named after the film then, was it?
Probably. It came out like 20 years after the movie, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and just that font.
Well, that's just like the YouTube video. I don't know if that's necessarily involved with the actual song.
I mean, I'm assuming it's a Japanese song, so the title's probably just
DJ Satomi.
It is DDR, so I would assume so. But yeah, Laputa.
People like Laputa? I'm not sure.
It's interesting about like Miyazaki's catalog is because it feels like at the like start, it's a lot more like creatively driven. Like Nausicaa is probably like the peak of like Miyazaki's like creativity as far as like creating a setting and stuff. And then Laputa is kind of a step down from that. But then once you get into like Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, kind of that era, like he's not necessarily creating as like a fantastical world so much as just using, kind of the
folklore,
yeah,
and just kind of mythology.
Yeah, and then he just kind of improves like the execution a bit.
Well, like I would say that, and I think a lot of people have made this comparison before, is that Castle in the Sky very much feels reminiscent of Future Boy Conan.
Yeah, probably, and then Future Boy Conan feels reminiscent of the film before that, which like Horus, Prince of the Sun.
Horus, yeah. I watched Horus recently, and I was watching that opening scene of Horus where he's fighting the wolves and stuff, and
that shit's good.
And I'm watching how he's animated, and I'm just like, oh, that's literally just Conan.
Yeah. It's also probably
like
the same
identical
person, because that would be the opening scene is Miyazaki and Otsuka, who they did the opening scene, so they were also pretty involved in Conan.
In Conan, yeah. But I really love Castle in the Sky. I really love how it's structured, and this is something I've wondered, and maybe Steve, you can like maybe shed some light on this. Is that I feel like at one point it was planned to be a 4-episode OVA. Because the way the movie is structured is that it kind of resets itself every 30 minutes.
Now, I can tell you why that is, but it's actually not the reason you think it is.
Really? Well, okay, so why is it?
Because Miyazaki doesn't write and finish his stories before he makes them.
Oh. So he just makes it up as he goes along, kind of?
Absolutely. Every one of these films is that.
Interesting. So, yeah.
Besides Nausicaa, I guess. Nausicaa might be the exception because he already finished, he already knew where the manga was going, I guess. So it's kind of adjusting on something that already exists.
Yeah, because the movie, Castle in the Sky has like a very like almost like kind of episodic structure, or a stream of consciousness, I guess would be a better way to describe it now. Where it's like every 30 minutes, it's kind of like it's like a little arc, and then it kind of resets.
That's probably the Kisho Tenketsu, right?
Kind of. There's not really like a twist to the movie.
The twist is the Sky Palace, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so it's like the first act is like them, main two characters meet and them running away. And then the second act is after the old man in the cave tells them about the castle in the sky is real. And that second act ends with the old robot destroying the castle, the one fortress. Third act is them hanging out with the pirates on the plane. And then the final act of the movie is them in the actual castle of the sky.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of reveal the whole, bloodline thing as well.
Yeah. So I think just in terms of it being an adventure movie, it is really, really strong. It basically hits everything I would want out of an adventure movie.
It has some nice like iconography too.
It's very coal mining town. British coal mining town. I think it's Wales, maybe.
Yeah, and then you have like that stark juxtaposition with the when they actually get to the castle in the sky, and you have like the everything is like mossed over and stuff. Kind of been overtaken by nature.
That's very how poetic from Miyazaki. Overtaken by nature. That's so unique of him.
So unique, yeah. I really just such a standout work. I've never seen him quite touch on that theme before.
Yeah.
I can't believe Bakemonogatari stole the image of the girl falling from the sky, though. Goddamn.
I mean, who hasn't stole the image of that girl from the sky?
Yeah.
True.
Where do we place it? I guess is it above or below Nausicaa?
Now, I mean, obviously, as the number one Nausicaa stan, I would not say it is above. I quite like Sky the times I've seen it, though I always kind of feel a bit, how would I say? When it gets to like the cast in the sky, I kind of just want it to end because I'm like, everything beforehand I was more into.
Okay.
I feel like an A.
Feel like an A?
Like Castle in the Sky.
I think it's a very whimsically fun little picture. You know, nice. They got that nice dynamic, which is something you're going to see a lot. It kind of starts the sort of Miyazaki boy-girl dynamic in his movies, at least.
Yeah.
And the sky pirates are cool.
They have a nice dynamic too.
I will say I like him more than Nausicaa, so I will. Yeah, let's just go with.
I'll let you have it. It's your channel.
You've been outvoted.
Damn.
Next we have Grave of the Fireflies.
Here's another technicality for you because Ghibli don't actually own this one.
Right, I was reading about that. The rights to this movie are kind of fucked because it wasn't produced by Takuma Shoten, was it?
No, because it was a commission job that came from a different publisher. Because this is early days, right? So what happened is the publisher of the novella, or the kind of short novella story that Grave is based on, wanted to do an animated version of it. And obviously they must have seen Nausicaa or some other film. So they approached the studio. Maybe they even seen some Takahata's, because at one point he was technically the more popular of the two. He'd been more well-known.
Yeah.
And they didn't necessarily want to do it, but they did under the implication that they could get that other film funded as well. So they did it as a dual feature. So maybe we want to do these together. Totoro and Grave were played at the same time in Japan as a double feature only. In their
Which is
release.
such a fucked up thing to do.
Yes, and they started with Grave. They started with Grave, and then it was
Grave
Totoro.
came out a few days before. Yeah,
because they didn't think people would stay if it was the other way around.
You gotta take your veggies before you get your dessert.
Yeah, that's basically
basically, yeah. You gotta shame the kids before you can make a movie for them.
Yeah, they're like, hey, here's the 40s, and then suddenly at the end it's like, oh, that was fucked, and then they go right into the 50s. It's like, oh, okay, no, look at it.
All right, yeah, all right.
These kids don't even remember the war.
Some healing after the trauma. Maybe this is a controversial opinion. I'm not the biggest fan of Grave of the Fireflies.
I do not like Grave of the Fireflies. So let's go. Oh, my cat's screaming. See, she's angry about this.
Your cat vehemently disagrees.
Yeah. She just tells me it's a masterpiece and I'm a philistine.
Your cat represents the thousands of people that are screaming out in agony,
pissed off at us.
I can only make them angry from here, so let's go.
I like Grave. I don't think it's like the best Ghibli, but
no, I mean I don't hate the movie. I don't dislike it, but I'm not in love with it like a lot of other people are. In part because I don't think that the movie is very cathartic by the end. No,
and I've actually read the novella, so I have some kind of expert of how it was adapted in interesting ways. Because the novella is a bit more blunt in a lot of ways. Like it sort of sets up a lot of these things in a much quieter fashion. Where the movie kind of sometimes makes things a little bit more elaborate. Like I'm pretty sure the entire opening scene with the ghosts is completely a movie original thing.
Yeah,
and some of the stuff with the montaging and all that at the end, that's all very movie based. Even the way she dies is very movie esque. In the novella, she kind of just passes away when he was even there.
Right. I've seen it like I was reading like an interview between
there's a very infamous one.
Akiyuki Nosaka and Takahata.
Is this the incest one?
They just, yes, it's the incest one.
Yes, when he's incredible. Yeah, when he makes Takahata very uncomfortable.
Which is just
you must make it incest.
Jesus
and he's like,
Christ, but they compare it to like Chikamatsu plays, like lover suicide plays, basically.
It's kind of an
I can
interesting,
definitely see
I don't
that.
know, maybe inside this man's brain, but that's like his real little sister he's telling a story about. So it's kind of an interesting
Yes.
way of looking at it, I guess.
But this man also made a book called The Pornographers.
I guess that's just the kind of man he is.
Yeah, he's, that spark of insanity.
I'll give it to him, and I feel they kind of do touch a little bit in the film. It's like very subtly, but I feel Takahata wasn't necessarily 100% in making that literal. But you can kind of see it.
You can kind of see it. Well, there's also just the fact that Takahata's a lolicon.
I thought it was Miyazaki. Is he too? I thought Takahata was the more apprehensive of the two.
Just based on like some of the stuff I've seen in his stuff, like between like On or even this with like the beach scene with Setsuko. I'm just like,
they're all just lolicons.
You fucking pervert.
Oh, you think so? Oh, you think that? I mean, maybe it runs in the family.
It's a genetic
it's a
thing.
Ghibli family.
But yes, and I guess the other issue I have with Grave is that I think the point of the movie is kind of fucked.
What do you think the
where
point
it's
is?
like we need to like teach kids to like basically shut up and stop complaining.
Maybe, yeah. I don't. Well, it's hard to say. I can see the sentiment there. That's kind of a little bit ugly, and I'm pretty sure he said something like that in one of his interviews.
Yeah, well, they kind of compare the main kid. What's his name? Fucking
Saito.
Saito.
I feel it's Saito.
They basically say he's like kind of like representative of like the entitlement of today's youth, basically.
The funny thing is, when I heard that now, I'm thinking like that sounds like most of these Ghibli films, because I swear that fucking Miyazaki said the same thing about Spirited Away, and they said the same thing about Princess Mononoke, and they said.
It's just every Ghibli movie.
Every time that's the
maybe they're just trying to say like kids are going to connect with this protagonist, and they just say it in the most condescending way possible.
They may well do. It might well be that. Just because obviously it's funny for them to say that, because it's like, dude, this is literally your life you're painting a story about.
This is your life.
Bro, this guy's
my brother in Christ. You made the sandwich.
You made these decisions, not this fucking 80s kid.
He does seem very he does look. It seems like he is not happy with his choices. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, maybe he wouldn't be. I mean,
have you seen any of the other adaptations of like Nausicaa's like short stories?
Have any of them been animated?
Yeah, there's like a whole like TV like series where it's just like yeah. Let me see if I can pull it up. There's like quite a few of them. They're all pretty sad. But they're all like set during, and they're all like about like kids basically during like World War II. So yeah, here, let me just pull this up on stream.
So that's his motif.
So yeah, you have like, yeah, basically. So you have like all of these different ones. I've only seen a couple. This one's pretty sweet. This one's also kind of nice.
What am I looking?
I like these. I like the two I've seen more than Grave of the Fireflies.
I can't see anything. The screen all I'm seeing is the tier list.
It's
supposed to be coming out somewhere else. Oh,
really?
Are these in your mind?
I thought I was streaming this on Discord. Is it not showing?
Oh, I can only. Maybe my thing's frozen because I can only just see the tier list.
It might.
Is there anything on the tier list?
1 second. I'm gonna close a couple things. Maybe my thing's playing up. Yeah, maybe my screen's frozen.
I'll
believe
still
you.
Recording. Are you still recording at least?
Yeah, that's separate, right? That's my my audition should be right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, I am peeking to shit actually on my fucking recording by the look of it. I better lower my volume. Oh, fucking oops. Let me lower my volume.
All right. Fix it in post.
Yeah. Apologies. Oh, come on. Yeah, my thing is having a moment, I think. So give me a sec.
Well, while you're doing that, I guess I'll say like, I like the. I don't know, the message that I feel like is in the film. I don't know about necessarily the potential conceit behind it, but like, I don't know, the story of just like regret, like the way it's like kind of presented, I think works really well for me. Like you say there's not enough pathos, but like, or like catharsis at the end, which I think is kind of intentional. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like robbing you of that catharsis. Cause like, I mean, he doesn't really have that catharsis, right? Like this is a real event that happened. There's not like a movie kind of like, yeah, there's a lot of liberties taken to make it a enjoyable movie, but at the same time, it's still like an actual thing that happened in his life. So it's like, it doesn't necessarily have that catharsis for him where it's like the catharsis is the movie essentially. Like it's just him essentially writing a fan fiction where he's like, yeah, I just basically just it would have been better if I just died kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
that's fair.
I do feel there is some interesting. Well, I'll give the movie a couple credits because there are definitely some things I find quite interesting about it, and they're very specific scenes.
Mm-hmm.
One is probably the opening, which I think is actually it's because they like to kind of say like this isn't really necessarily a war film, and I can kind of see that because it's more about surviving a really shitty situation. Like you could kind of apply the situation to any kind of poor situation if it
any sort of strife,
if it's immigration or just upheaval or anything like that, it could be easily like posited to like kids not having the sort of childhood maybe they should do and they're sort of displaced.
Right.
But I think there's some really effective, subtle kind of jabs, which maybe maybe because of the subtle kind of quality of them, they have a bit more like sting to them. Which is, I think, the opening scene in particular. When rewatching it, I saw it in passing. I was really kind of taken back by how they kind of posit that children are vermin. Because you've got all these dying kids in the subway, and no one fucking cares. Yeah, they're just like they're literally treating them like rats. They're just like.
They're completely unfazed by it.
Yeah, which is almost like the ultimate, like, if you wanted to make a subtle like critique of like the Japanese philosophy. Oh, now I can see the thing on the screen. If you wanted to make a subtle critique of like the philosophy of Japan during that war or just after it, like how it had become at that point, it is literally children dying in front of you and you thinking it's just kind of mildly annoying and just going on to get the train.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's definitely like a really strong.
You still have the problem with the invisible ones, even like today, like with homeless people, like that, they talk about in Tokyo Godfathers even.
Yeah, that's definitely a different one. Usually that's a situation of class. I feel like somewhat the war squished class enough.
Kind of like equalizes everything.
Yeah, so like any of those, a lot, even Saita in, I think they're kind of rich, spoiled kids. If anything, their families were pretty well off. Like one of their family was like a Marine, like they got doctors and Marines and even their aunt has like her children are in college and university still. Yeah, nice house they live in. Like they're fairly well off children.
They're fairly well off, which kind of just makes the main character seem like more of an asshole.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think over time, what I've kind of taken from the story was it's almost on the parental figures, like the adults, because he's a kind of like sour teenager, but he should not really have to deal with this responsibility, and he's been.
He shouldn't have to die.
It's not even die. It's like he's taken on responsibility of his very ill sister, and no one's willing to help him. And they know this is a problem. They can all see it. His aunt knows exactly where he is when he runs away. There's only one place they hide.
The whole
farmers know.
Back half of this movie just feels like
the doctors know.
Different situations where an adult could have helped and done something, but then just didn't.
Yeah, which I almost feel.
But he could have also made different choices.
Yeah, he could have, but. I feel when you're in a really dire situation, it's always not very helpful to tell someone, well, why didn't you do this? Especially when you're talking to like a child.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need like
there are so many different, like it's a tragedy of like, there are so many different things that could have happened to save these kids.
Right. Yeah.
But that was just like the circumstance of it. Because even the sake of their bank accounts were technically pretty well off because they inherited all their parents' money, so they actually had full bank accounts.
Right, yeah, but then they basically
you can't use it during the war. Like that money was worthless because assets were more important than the money, which is hence why like that kind of squishes the whole class aspect. Unless you have a huge amount of assets, like just pure asset, you would be a bit fucked. But I do think that kind of relates back to the beginning of the film because the beginning of the film sets up really bluntly these people don't care about the circumstances about them. And you could say that this is also a very Japanese film in terms of like, it is almost like fighting against the concept of individuality. It's like literally going, individuality is actually really bad. Because this is what happens both ways. If you're an individual kid, you'll starve your sister, but if you're an individual adult, you'll let children starve and not care about it. And you'll become, a monster in the face of modality, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I can respect those bits.
Where do we put it?
I don't know because I'm not going to put it any very high but that's kind of like personal taste thing. I wouldn't personally like go. You know what I want to do today? Watch Grave of the Fireflies. That sounds like a great idea. Like I'm never going to say that.
I'm going to put this movie on just to relax.
Even like just as like, oh, I'm feeling sad. I want to watch a sad thing. I'm not going to watch fucking Grave of the Fireflies.
Where do we want to put it then? So B, C, D.
I would feel like B.
I mean, I'm going to probably say C.
But I could also accept a high C.
Because, Nausicaa's been slanted too many times.
I also put it in C for now.
Yeah.
Next up is the happier movie, My Neighbor Totoro. So I did not grow up with this movie. I did not watch it as a kid. I watched it as like a 21-year-old man, and I loved it.
Well, yeah, that's
mine they just died. Exactly the thing I said was going to happen just happened. Brilliant.
I was just saying I did not like grow up with this movie. I didn't watch it as a kid. I watched it as an adult, and I love this movie.
Really? That's interesting because I do not care for Totoro either, so that's going to make people even more angry.
Oh my god. It's pissing everyone off today.
Yeah.
See, I grew up with Totoro, and I do like Totorobut I'm not in love with Totoro.
Okay.
Oh, we've got
it's interesting. I'm the most positive
like a gradient
on it.
It's almost like there's nuance here.
Oh my god. It's the benefit of having more than one person do a fucking tier list video.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's like a really just wholesome, relaxing movie.
You know, I understand it. I find it interesting for a couple factors because there's this film called My Miracle, which is made by Katabuchi, who also used to work at Ghibli for a bit. It's very similar to Totoro, and I love that film. And there's just slight differences, and it's not quite as like magical or mythical, but it is two siblings sort of kind of going about their day. It's 50s Japan. I think at one point one of them gets lost. So like, there's a lot of the facet that they're spending a lot of time in the countryside. But I guess there's the small changes in approach. Maybe I'm into that one, but not here. And I think it's kind of like a tastemaker thing where like this film is like pure ma. You know what they say, like the kind of pure in between kind of. It's soothing kind of nature stuff. And if you vibe with that, I'm sure it's like really good. If you don't vibe with it, you're probably not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah, if you hate grass.
Yeah. If you hate touching stuff, yeah. You hate.
What was the other movie you said?
My Miracle.
My Miracle?
Yeah, I think it came out like 2009 from Madhouse.
Okay.
I think a good strength of Ghibli is at least like on display in Totoro, where they kind of incorporate the more spiritual, fantastical kind of elements into like a very mundane kind of setting very well. Obviously you get it's a little bit more obvious in other movies, but it is like here, obviously with Totoro, the forest god and all that.
Yeah, and that might come from something I saw Miyazaki specifically. He talks a lot about in like a lot of the interviews, behind the scenes stuff in Spirited Away. There's kind of mention of how it's kind of it's like an opening of the brain a bit, where you see that for Miyazaki, he can put on screen stuff that he has experience with, or things that he wants.
Can't believe it. They killed him.
That he remembers.
You cut out.
Oh, fuck. I was saying, fuck my that's probably. So Miyazaki has a big thing about putting on screen stuff that he can like visualize from his past or things that he's personally experienced. And he does this with his animators, and a lot of the animators seem like completely lost when he does it, because it would be like, have you ever done this thing? And they're like, no, I'm an animator. I've never done that thing. I've never. And he's like, oh, damn it.
When you touch grass, I've never touched grass.
Like, have you touched an animator? Like, no. Have you ever like gave a dog a medicine that it's like, I've never had a dog. It's like, fuck's sake. And he's using that as an example to be like, this is how you'd administer medication to a dragon. Or in some case, it'd be like, well, these soot demons and these soot like karma, have you ever like opened up a fucking pillar in the countryside and seen all the mildew and all the like earwigs just run out of the way and scuttle? It's gonna be like that, and they'll be like, no, I've never done that. And he's like,
oh. So it is literally just, have you ever like gone outside into like the woods and just ran around?
Like, here's my personal experience. This is how I visualize the scene, and they're kind of like, I've not done that.
Can you? I don't know.
I think this movie does come off very differently when you're a child, though. Like I remember watching it as a kid, and like it being on VHS, like it had a very high like saturation.
Oh yeah, it's probably crushed the shit.
Yeah. It was like quality wise is awful, but like there's so many things that like stood out to me, I guess, like as a kid watching this movie, and it just has like such a different feel than when like I go back and rewatch it like now.
Yeah, and that, well, to go completely off tangent bit, maybe that's what I see in My Miracle, because that kind of reminds me of my youth sometimes, because I still do to some degree, like quite close to the countryside. So there are like instances where I can kind of relate to the experience of being sort of going through the countryside or little bits and pieces of it, especially when you're young, you go through like a little kind of crevice of it, and it kind of feels like a different world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A little piece of woods or like just a little hutch of greenery.
Yeah.
And it's just
being in like a new environment and stuff like that. I relate to like having like a sick mom element to it as well.
What do y'all make of the reading of Totoro being a god of death?
I fucking hate it so much.
That is,
it literally makes my blood boil.
We were
that's
before
just
this, Steve. Before this, we were just talking, and I came across an article that was basically saying that an R-rated Calvin and Hobbes movie where Calvin has schizophrenia would be a good idea.
Oh my god, kill me.
And that right there is on the same level as saying Totoro is a god of death.
But people unironically say this.
Creepypasta, isn't it?
That is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life.
The thing is, I've seen like Japanese. I swear, there's like a clip.
Oh, he cut out.
It's like
God damn it.
Going through the theory in Japan, because I think it's actually popular in Japan too. Because it's probably some bullshit someone made up on a forum in Japan.
Yeah.
Like 97 or something, and then it gets on TV because they got nothing else to put on there. So it's like, oh, did they really die? Did the girl die because the shoe is in the ocean? And it's like, oh no, of course not. And like,
that's
like
on
on the
the
also
level
say
of
because like he's attracted to like their mom, who's like in the hospital. I guess is like the reasoning. I guess is behind the theory or whatever.
The mom doesn't die.
Yeah, but she's sick. She's dying.
I mean, she technically she dies in real life because that's sort of based on his I think it's based on his own personal experience because he had a sick mother too.
Well, I guess that's actually only going to be like the second worst take on a Ghibli movie that I've heard. We'll get to the other one when we get to.
I'm sure we can get to the other one when it gets onto the list.
But where do we want to put Totoro?
I feel about
hold on,
the
I pulled my
same
earbud
as
out.
like Grave of the Fireflies for Totoro.
What?
Like I feel like very similarly to Grave of the Fireflies for Totoro. Like they kind of hover around the same area for me.
Okay, so
I'll leave it
like
to you because I feel like my opinion on that is probably an outlier for most. Even in Japan, because Totoro for the longest time was like the most beloved Ghibli film. It did terrible in the cinemas, but it played on Nippon TV every year for like 40 years and became like, that's what became the logo for the company because it became like a national brand. It got huge ratings on television and it slowly gained up a really good home release. So it just became like what people associate with the brand with.
I mean, the image in this poster, more than anything else, it might be the most referenced thing back to any like Studio Ghibli thing.
Completely, yeah.
I've seen it in like so many other things.
Yeah, it's the Akira bike of Ghibli.
yeah, it's on that level, honestly. I don't know. I'd say let's put it in B below Nausicaa.
That's fair.
Okay, as long as it's below Nausicaa, I can accept it.
Next we have Kiki's Delivery Service.
I want to put this in S, but I feel I might be alone in that.
For me, it's like I don't dislike Kiki's, but I'm not in love with it.
Yeah, I wanted to rewatch it because I was kind of curious where I felt here because I feel like every time I've watched it, I've had a bit of a different sort of perspective on it. I don't dislike it at all, though. Though I think there's definitely some interesting stuff with it, and some of the behind the scenes I know kind of leads into it because
because you were talking about Katabuchi.
Yes, Katabuchi was the original director of this film,
and then he got forced out.
Yeah,
which will happen again later.
It's an interesting fact because he technically still the assistant director. He didn't actually lead the production, and some factors that involved in that. One, from what I understand, is that Miyazaki starts. Probably because he's going off the like burnout from the prior project. He usually goes, I'll never do it again. I can't do it because his body's weak and he's fucking numb. And then he gets more strength as time goes by and he suddenly starts getting into something that I'm going to be talking about in a video later. He has a serious egotist problem where Miyazaki can't be on a project and leave it be. So if he's part of a project, even if he's not the director, he has to meddle. And I feel like he slowly meddles his way into that predominant position of director again.
Yeah.
Now, the other factor, which I feel isn't, maybe why there isn't 100% soundness there, Katabuchi had a child during the production, another one. It was like a second child was born. So I feel he might have not actually wanted the director role after that complication happened. Just The
Okay.
factors of that might have played in. He has said so in an interview once, because I was looking up to it, because I was really curious if he had like, because Hoser does fucking burnt scorch earth on that shit. He's fucking like, he's still got a chip on his shoulder.
I mean, understandably,
doesn't seem as much.
Okay.
It doesn't really feel like a Miyazaki movie as much as like his other stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a funny thing with Oshii. I think he says in the book once where he tries to accuse Suzuki of like tainting Miyazaki, because he thought, like,
of trying to
Miyazaki's
or trying to like rein him in to make a more commercial product.
Yeah, and it's possible that there is maybe some truth to it, because Suzuki was a little bit, what would be the word? Maybe shitting himself, because he's realized there's actually been diminishing returns with every one of these films. So Nausicaa got the highest one, and slowly with each of the releases, it's gotten lower and lower, which is basically a death sentence for your studio. When the film that did the best is the one that not even made at the studio. And you got all that debt.
Yeah.
So he had to really change up the strategy quite a bit with Kiki, which became the successful strategy. That's the first film that was in the black in the studio, and it set the template.
Yeah.
I'm reading this excerpt from Oshii's book on
like,
Studio Ghibli.
Something about pissing.
Miyazaki loves perfect girls.
It's true, he does.
Miyazaki's heroine would never go to the loo like Kiki did in the film. Which apparently shocked those who knew Miyazaki. Why did he do that then? Oshii believes Suzuki kept whispering into Miyazaki's ears, "Miya-san, the beautiful girls you have depicted are not good. You should make her a character with that real girls can empathize with."
And Miyazaki was like, "I don't understand. What's a real girl? I don't know what you're talking about."
For me, it's just a matter of not a lot of this movie stuck with me.
I feel it's interesting knowing a couple bits of fact around it. I actually feel that the sort of go on the toilet thing feels very Katabuchi, because I know Katabuchi did a lot of the pre-production. I wonder if some of that is leftovers from his conception of the film, because that's very him. He would be the kind of person to go that way, where Miyazaki, we'll see it again. There's an interesting power struggle also in Spirited Away.
This sounds.
But yeah, Suzuki may have also tried to push it, because I remember that apparently the target audience was teenage girls. And I think that does change how they format it and what they're looking at.
I kind of see it. It definitely feels like it's for like an older audience, but not necessarily like adults necessarily.
No. I mean, maybe it's like family, but there's definitely, just because of the kind of themes it goes through, there's sort of like the going through puberty,
kind of finding your
changing,
place.
Burnout, creativity, finding a first job. These are all quite young people factors. Turning your passions into into work, capitalist structures, and then that failing.
Yeah, I quite like Kiki. Definitely kind of feels like
I think it's a nice little film.
It's kind of a unique little gem in the Ghibli catalog.
Yeah, I really need to rewatch. I was planning on rewatching it for this video, but I had like so many other movies I needed to watch that I didn't get around to it.
I was playing basketball. That's what I was doing instead of watching Kiki.
I was balling.
Yeah, I was literally balling.
Hell yeah.
I do not regret it.
Where would we put it, I guess?
You can put a B tier. I wouldn't mind putting a B tier. I mean, maybe some other people would go higher.
You want S?
I want S, but I can settle for A. I'm totally fine with A.
Fuck it, put it in A. Why not? I don't know. I don't really mind. I'll allow it.
You'll allow it to be above Nausicaa?
Yeah, I'll allow it. I'll give it to just because it's nice film. Because I didn't rewatch it, I feel bad. If I'd rewatched it, I was like, nah, fuck that shit. But because I didn't,
fuck you.
Because I was balling, I have to concede.
Out there, not touching grass, touching asphalt.
Yeah, that shit was gravelly as fuck. It was broken glass everywhere.
Oh Jesus Christ! Only Yesterday.
S.
I do like Only Yesterday. Maybe not the ending, but everything.
Oh, you don't like the ending?
Maybe not. Last time I watched that, the last couple of times I've seen it.
We were literally just talking about the ending and how much Mumi loves the ending of Only Yesterday.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I can't help. Maybe this is like a personal vendetta, right? As someone who lives in the countryside, I fucking hate landowners. So the idea of let's leave the city to like fucking marry a fucking landowner farmer guy is like, no, those farmers have fucked me over so many times. Like they've I have been
personally slighted by this exact kind of person.
Yeah, they fucking steal my infrastructure as fucking pricks and destroying the environment in the area because they can get away with anything. So yeah, maybe that's a personal thing.
I live in the suburbs, and we also don't really have like a problem with landowners in Texas because everyone just owns their farmland.
I see. Yeah.
What's interesting, because mine's like the opposite, because it's like mine's like the opposite of like having personal experience. Because for me, what I love about this movie is that it makes me feel nostalgic for events that I have never personally experienced.
There's a term for that.
What's it called?
Yep. Yeah, it did. Fuck.
I forget. Hold on, I'll look it up. Nostalgia for something you never experienced. It is called I
better stop watching.
Anemoia?
Anime?
This word.
No.
Okay. My internet just died for a second, so now I'm back. I can't watch the stream. It will fuck me up.
It's fine.
You probably don't need to watch the stream. We're telling you
Anemoia?
It was on. Anemoia? Sorry, I missed.
I guess that's the word. Yeah, nostalgia for a time or a place one has never known. There we go. Yeah, well, there's just,
that's
very, it's from this. It's from this book. That's from the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. I thought it'd be from this book.
Yeah.
Psy was just telling us about how much of a Zoomer he was and was nostalgic for only yesterday.
For only yesterday. Yeah. Because it's like, I've never like the watermelon scene. I've never like been in a situation like that, but I feel like I have.
Yeah, and watching it, I mean, it's a very detailed film. There's a lot of really great things about it. It's definitely one of the really just the workers on it, like the kind of animators on it as well. Like they were trying to do something very different. Don't know if they got
especially 100%. With weren't some of the weren't like the adult sections were they partially rotoscoped, or they were doing something different?
They recorded the voice actors and they used that as reference.
Right,
I don't think it was actually rotoscoping, but they had the face reference, so they could use it to create the film.
Which is why you get those dimples.
Yeah, they go a bit hard on the dimples.
The controversial dimples.
Yeah, I think it works well. I think it's cute. Taiko's only like 27 in that movie.
Yeah, she look a bit older.
She looks fine when she's not smiling.
Yeah. I mean, that's a nice thing to tell someone. Just don't smile.
Right,
Hey, Toots, don't smile. And that whole business job in the city, get rid of that. Marry someone in the countryside. We need more people in the countryside. That's what Takahata's really telling you. It's actually propaganda. He's like,
no, this is a massive propaganda movie.
Please, go to the countryside. We need people there. Agriculture is so important to Japan, and we're getting fucked.
This is the kind of movie that Xi Jinping is wanting to promote to his people.
Xi Jinping has this movie.
Return to the farms.
Yeah.
Generally, I just love Takahata's stuff, so a lot of his stuff would probably be high for me.
I do. I actually like comedy Takahata, which is maybe almost like an unknown factor because he didn't do a ton of that in Ghibli. But beforehand, I was really big on
we'll get to the one when we get to it.
I do like this one though. I do really like this. This one's my favorite ones though. Maybe I hold some grudge. If I watch it again, I won't feel it. Maybe I'll be matured, but maybe I'll just.
Maybe I'll still be angry at fucking landowners.
Yeah, there's fucking landowners.
Fucking bourgeoisie.
So S tier for only yesterday.
I'll give you an A. That's where I'd probably put it.
Okay, I'm gonna say I'd be fine with A above Laputa.
Okay, yeah, I'll go that. Yeah, I mean those are the flashback scenes are really great. Like
Well, that's stuff in the original book.
Yeah. That stuff's really.
And then the adult stuff is like stuff Takahata added in.
Yeah, that's all.
And then recently there was there's a live action like sequel.
Oh,
to Only Yesterday. Yeah,
that worked.
Where like Taiko's like a
novel, right?
I think it's a sequel to both the movie and the book because like Taiko's like an old woman.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that.
Yeah,
I'm curious if her life was hell or if she actually enjoyed it. I'm kind of curious if she was like, "Oh fuck, the countryside sucks." Then I'd be like, "Now I have completely relate."
You need to follow up to see how the landowners.
I want to see how it went. I want to see if she got.
It's like revisiting like something in Kitchen Nightmares.
You got to know. You got to know how that story went. Was it as fairy tale as I thought it was? Actually, a little bit more uneven. Yeah,
I really do love the flashback sequences in that movie, though. Like just the way that this has been yetted.
Fun fact on this one: Disney would not refuse to release this one because of the period.
Oh yeah.
It did not get a release in the States. It got a release in apparently Australia, not one here, but got released in Australia. I think
they didn't want to
the
dub
2000s.
it. They didn't want to like have anything to do with it.
They didn't even release it. They weren't going to release it subbed or dubbed.
Specifically because they talk about periods in the movie.
Yeah, and there's like a conversation, I know, I think it's in Albert's book where they're talking about it, and they're like, that's weird. Is that weird in the States? Do people get weird about that? Because they didn't see it.
Yes, well, because it's a massive... You can show like any manner of violence in movies, but if you have to like... anything to do with maybe having to talk to your kids about something potentially uncomfortable, people want nothing to do with it. So, you can have like people being blown apart in like Pirates of the Caribbean...
Shit. But if RoboCop had
talking
like a
about
period, then
periods, which is
that
something
film would be banned.
Talking about periods, which is something basically every woman experiences, it's like, no, that's too much.
Yeah, and a fun fact here, I don't know if it's completely related, but apparently one of the reasons that it may be less taboo in Japan is Anne Frank, because that book of theirs is so fucking popular. And
that's a good point.
And that like apparently opened up the gateway for some of that during the 50s in Japan.
Have you seen the anime adaptation of Diary of Anne Frank?
I've seen one of them. I've seen the Madhouse one.
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's neat. Speaking of World War II.
Oh, are we going back?
Going Porco Rosso.
Ghibli's Casablanca adaptation.
Yes.
Ghibli,
S tier. Let's go.
I'm not opposed to S tier.
Oh, I'm that for a time that was my favorite Miyazaki film. Sometimes
it is a
Nausicaa's
great movie.
Oh yeah, it's a better Casablanca. There we go. That's my angry comment for that.
It's a better Casablanca. I don't disagree. You know what? It is a better Casablanca.
I've seen both. Like I think Porco Rosso is better.
Casablanca's all right.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a good film.
I love the ending of the Casablanca has like the ultimate like dude's rock ending.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have a pig fight someone in like.
This is very true. This is by far and away like the most indulgent Miyazaki ever gets.
Oh, definitely, he knows it too, and he was. I love that quote. He said he was like shocked. He's like, this film is like so what do you say? It's like idiosyncratic or something, and it's like done better than any other film we've made at the studio, and that horrifies me. This film should not have done this well.
But I think this movie's awesome.
Yep.
There's a moment in the movie that I really like where it's the part where they're making the new plane and they're talking about how they want to do this thing, but they're already like over budget and everyone's overworked. And I'm watching that. I'm just like,
classic.
Oh, they're just talking about the movie.
Yeah.
Just talking about
even like the
old
movie. Guy looks kind of like Miyazaki if you like squid.
I mean, to be fair, I think Miyazaki, it's been said that the insert is he's the fucking pig.
Miyazaki is the
definitely,
pig.
yeah.
Absolutely. He gets he flies the coolest plane.
The sexist.
He gets like the cute he gets like the cute tomboy. It's
literally
they
just
love him,
Humphrey
but
Bogart.
ultimately he ends up going with his wife in the end. The actual woman he's destined to be with. Yeah, if I remember reading about it, because this was produced at the same time as Only Yesterday. So the staff, there was a big hubbub, and I think this is a Suzuki thing. He was doing a bit of manufactured sort of bollocks thing, but he was like, there are so many women working on this film. Look at all the women working on it. And the reason is because they didn't have, all these other people working on fucking, on Takahata's film. So they sort of hired up.
So Porco Rosso was like the B project, basically? So wait, Porco Rosso was like the B project almost?
I think it's not necessarily B project. It's just that Porco Only Yesterday started first. So because it started first, they already had the animators. So if you've got the staff and everything, like they're already on project. So when Miyazaki's project starts, you don't have those people to work with you on the salary department. So they basically brought a lot of people in the studio who were women who were sort of like lower on the totem pole. And they just rise them up a couple ranks to get them on. Which is, I think, was supposed to be the inspiration of the all-women sort of plane factory.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it was also around this time they started building their actual studio. I don't know if they'd finished it by the start of this film.
Okay, so where were the women housed? Like, it just like Kumashoten something?
They had basically some storage house, which was probably what Takuma Shoten gave them. And eventually they started during this period of time, they start building their own in-house studio that we all know, the first one.
Okay.
But
Basically, this is just Ghibli fan fiction where
yeah, basically.
Miyazaki's a pilot.
Yeah, and
working at an
like
airplane
Miyazaki,
factory.
Yeah, and Miyazaki kind of being like completely disheveled in the world because this is where this is during the period where Miyazaki's kind of like giving up on Marxism basically and becoming a full doomer.
Better to be a pig than a fascist.
Yeah, he still hates this fascist.
It's still one of the hardest lines. I think that might be the hardest line in any Miyazaki movie.
It is so fucking hard. The one thing I say, I actually quite like the dub on this film, but there's one thing I really don't like about it is that they, this is like such a fucking Disney decision. They removed the word pornography from the film, which is kind of annoying.
Oh, yeah, when they're talking about his crimes.
Yeah. It's a scene where, it's crimes, and that is actually like a historic reference. It's not like a joke. It's kind of a joke, but it's supposed to be a reference that like that's what the Italian fascists would do. They would literally just try and cry. They will just bullshit trial you on things like you were... they just arrest you by saying you were arresting for the crime of pornography or something. Yeah. Not that you actually did it. So that was just like...
There was something else mentioned in there, too, that was just completely innocuous. Can't remember what, though. Yeah, good movie.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
It's interesting that you're talking about, like, having, like, all these, like, bringing up all these, like, these women animators for the movie, because then the next thing we have... was also like a similar sort of experiment, Ocean Waves.
Ocean Waves, yes. Now that's an interesting one. Do you know the story about the director on this?
Not real. I only kind of have a general idea of why this movie was made.
All right, so here's the technicalities, right? From what I remember. It's been a while since I looked into this. So Ocean Waves was written for Animage originally. So it was a novella, like almost a novella situation. There was some drawings in it from I think it was Kitara. No, it wasn't Kitara. It was what was his name? I forgot his name. It's like one of the character designers at Ghibli. I think did the drawings for it. I think it was Kitara Kondo or Kitsu Kondo, whatever his name is.
Katsuya Kondo.
Yeah, because he's the character designer on Thingamajig, the witch one. I've forgotten the name.
Yeah. Well, on like a lot of things, but yeah.
Yeah. I think that was his first job. Allegedly, I think he might have came from Gainax originally, but I don't know if I can actually guarantee that because there's like this old story about Miyazaki running down to the Gainax staff in the middle of the night trying to steal them for his film for Castle in the Sky. Don't know how true it is, but it's a very funny story.
That's something I could see him doing.
Yeah, like, the middle of midnight being like, hey, do you want to work on my film? You want to work on my film? Come on.
You
want to.
Yeah, you see Nausicaa?
He did do key animation for both Castle in the Sky and Royal Space Force.
Yes, and Royal Space Force's pilot had a bunch of Ghibli animators on it. So that's kind of like a connection. But that was my posit there, is that at some point Miyazaki might have like grabbed him and then never let him go.
This movie is interesting because it's one of basically only two made for TV movies.
Yes. It was made for Nippon Television, who is a huge producer on all these films, which is hence why they got it.
A big element that goes into what we'll get to later with Tale of Princess Kaguya. But what was I saying? But yeah, so it's interesting because this movie basically existed to promote more staff at the studio, essentially, beyond just the core of like Miyazaki and Takahata and company.
And if I believe so, it was supposed to show that the studio could also do smaller projects on a more efficient timetable, which was fucking hilarious to think about in retrospect.
And it did not work.
No. And one of the reasons that it might not have worked is that there is a blog post from the director years after the fact, and he said about what it was like to work on it and what happened, if I understand right. He was doing two projects at the same time. What happened, if I remember right, is he was in the middle of working on OVA, which is kind of like almost like a BL, like a boy love kind of OVA.
Let me see if I can find it.
Boarding school thing happening. I only saw the first episode or two. I need to finish watching it. It was fun. I don't know if it's particularly liked or not. But he was making that at the same time as his film because Ghibli approached him to be like, can you direct this? And he couldn't say no, but he was currently in the middle of working on a project. So he had to basically do both at the same time by the sounds of it. And then he got hospitalized at one point.
God.
Like a fucking ulcer situation, you shitting out black tar or something. That was a whole thing. So he was like one of the first cases of the classic hospitalized Ghibli moment which happens all the time.
The first of many.
Yeah, maybe not even the first, but the
maybe
first,
maybe
like,
not the
big
first
case.
Yeah.
When it comes to, like,
but I mean, all
members.
that is, even if the movie may technically be a failure in terms of like as like what it set out to do as an experiment, I still really like this movie.
I'm actually a big fan of it, just for like the kind of small story it tells. And
a lot of people hate this, though.
Oh, I mean, a lot of people are babies.
Yeah, well, a lot of people specifically hate the main girl.
Shut up.
This isn't their tier list. This is our tier list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
did
can
a tier
go
list
fuck
once for
themselves.
Ghibli, and I did not take it seriously at all. This time I'm being a little more serious. They should accept this.
Well, there's also the interesting. Do you know this movie is like accidentally queer take?
Oh my god!
I know the guy because he approached me when it got taken down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm like the go-to guy that people go to when they're like, Ghibli is like taking my video down. What do I do? And I have to.
You're the professional.
I'm the guy that has the most experience with it, I guess, on the internet. So I get pushed. People come to me and be like, "Hey, what do I do? They've taken my video down." And I have to tell them if they can or cannot like fucking claim it against it.
Can't wait for that to happen to this video. Hopefully it'll be fine with how we edit these, but
nah, you'll be alright. You'll be fine. Don't worry.
But yeah, a lot of people just hate the main girl, and I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, did you not watch the movie? Like, I watched like one of these tier list videos, and I saw him talking about it, and he thought that he
was looking for a different film than what was made, which I don't really know if it's a good critique, personally.
Oh yeah, the queer one, yeah, because the argument is basically if you just re-edit the movie,
if you just completely change the point of the film, it's this,
which is. Yes, but you have just created a different movie.
And what's interesting is I actually know the differences between that. Now, when Animage originally created this novella that was in the pages of an anime magazine, the reason it was chosen is because it was supposed to be like the least anime thing for it. So it was chosen specifically because the flavor of it was very different from what they would usually take on. The second thing is that there are small changes in the movie that would make that posit easier. And I wonder if some of that is just kind of because the dude was also working on that kind of like light BL work on the side.
That BL work?
I don't even know if it goes that way, but it kind of reads like it's subtle on that.
That would be an interesting
because
angle.
the punch.
I don't know if the video talks
the real
about
key scene is the punch, right? And the punch isn't in the book.
Oh, okay.
It's not in the original source material, so it's strictly for the anime only. So like, it's probably to add more like tension, right?
Yeah. Because there is like a sort of like love triangle thing that's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, with this main girl.
My take of it originally was that it was just like, bros being bros, it was like a dude's rock.
Yeah,
Sometimes relationships don't work out.
Yeah, there's another OVA.
But, your friends.
Have you seen 1919?
Is that the sequel? Because I know it's a sequel book.
No, 19 is like a similar OVA. The main character looks like Guts from Berserk.
Okay.
I highly recommend checking it out. It's got a really like kind of like proto Karikano-esque style.
Very aesthetic.
Yeah, very aesthetic.
I'll probably try that.
But it has a similar sort of like bros before hoes ending.
Yeah. I think that's almost intentional though, because I actually think in the second book they might get together, but I think the ending being that way is supposed to be a very specifically anime-age, like anti-anime-age kind of thing, where it was supposed to be more like the guy didn't get the love, which would be the stereotypical thing to happen in sort of an anime manga kind of publication.
Where do we want to put this then?
I like it just fine, though. Obviously, I like it for what it is. I like the soundtrack a lot, which is a different kind of style. Yeah. I like that it's kind of a smaller, simpler story that's a little bit sour, maybe a little bit teenagey, but like I don't think it's...
I do like the just overall direction and aesthetic of it as well. Just this kind of like breezy 90s kind of thing.
It is very 90s.
I'd put it around like Totoro, Grave of the Fireflies kind of range.
Yeah, I mean, like I probably put it on like low B, but maybe I'll take a high C.
All right, I put it in low B.
For what it is.
Now let's talk about one of the stranger movies on this fucking list.
Tanuki Balls.
Pom Poko.
Oh, here we go. Fucking go.
Oh, you really like Pom Poko?
Oh, absolutely. So I kind of posit about if it's my favorite Takahata or if it's my second favorite, but yeah, I'm all in it, and I think it's super interesting from especially from a history perspective, Because whenever I see it talked about, there's a lot of Americans giving that kind of nostalgia. Like, I don't get it. What's it about? It's like, yeah, it's about the fucking New Left in the 70s.
Oh, yeah,
this film is exactly about that.
Just the way that the movie ends, from what I understand, was basically taken to be a direct reference to that at the time.
Yes, it's probably about the 1973 kind of like complete failure, right?
Yeah.
Just like the massacre.
See, I just kind of view the movie as basically being Japanese over the hedge.
I haven't seen it over a hedge, so I can't comment.
That is like the most cursed like comparison I think I can make. But it's interesting because this movie is very different, and I think it's kind of really Takahata just starting to like
first original story.
Yeah.
So there's that to it.
It's very documentary-esque.
Oh yeah, and he loves that.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, that's kind of his vibe.
It must have been like a fucking fever dream if you were just like following Takahata for like his movies, and you go to like Grave of the Fireflies and Only Yesterday to the fucking this.
The fucking Tanuki
yeah,
balls.
This is, I guess.
This movie has
lovingly, I think one of my favorite quotes from Oshii is when he just calls his film Marxism.
Yo, yeah, I think Oshii just says that like Takahata's movies didn't really truly become Marxist until Pom Poko.
Yeah, which is interesting to me because I didn't really know if he kept that spirit or not. Because obviously Miyazaki kind of gives it up on it. And I think Takahata might be like a secret, like full-on Marxist to the end.
I mean, I can definitely see that reading of this movie. It's very. I mean, the ending is also. Well, no, because I think the ending is also kind of doomer still with like how everything ultimately ends up.
Yeah, I think it's it kind of relates to the reality of the situation, right? Because it's like the New Left failed.
Yeah.
But then they're like, but then what do? They talk directly to the children. It's up to you. And you could say it's an environmental message as well, which is a very blunt one. But Miyazaki is too much of a coward to say, like it's for you to say as bluntly.
To have a character look directly into the camera.
Yes, at the camera. And talk it, but like you could also kind of read it as like it's up for you new generations to like relive or like to bring back this important thing. It is for you, the new, because it is the fresh. It would be the young people that will fight that war, and it is up to you to do it. Maybe that's a secret sort of recruitment thing. But
and on top of all that, I don't know who this movie is really made for though, because I don't know if kids are necessarily going to get that. The humor is basically old man humor.
Oh yeah, because it's made by old men.
Yeah, it's made by old men, and the
it
joke
was probably
is
made for the family dynamic.
Yeah,
but I imagine in some ways it's kind of almost supposed to be like an educational thing, in that like you could, if you were so inclined to believe it, and your parents probably understand this, that this is about something that happened in the 70s in Japan.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like a way to reinterpret that history for younger audiences.
It's Tanuki balls.
That's how I probably say it. Though it's probably a family film in the end, because that's just what Ghibli's brand was.
It's one of those films that your grandparents take you to because they actually kind of want to watch it, and then like you just watch it because it's a cartoon.
Oh yeah, and it has testicles and it's fucking hilarious.
Did this movie get released by Disney?
It has a dub. I think it might have.
I think it does, but they just refer to like the Tanuki balls as something
Lex Luthor on it.
Which Lex Luthor?
The one from the animated show who was he's like in Highlander. He's like an actual actor, isn't he? He's the bad guy from Highlander.
I thought we were talking about like.
Is it Clarence something? His name is?
Oh yeah,
Mark
so the
Zuckerberg.
English
not Gene Hackman.
I thought we were talking about Mark Zuckerberg Lex Luthor for a second.
No. He'd be like 5.
The English dub refers to the Tanuki balls as raccoon pouches.
Yes. Wink. They know
wink, wink. It's like you can very clearly see it's just their fucking testicles.
That's just classic Disney. Disney in those dubs is like it's like a 50-50 between like, this one's pretty good and this one's butchered.
Yeah.
Though I think that dub is actually fine for the most part. Though there are obviously some localizations here and there, but the cast is pretty good.
I guess the thing for me is like I'm just comparatively like lukewarm on this movie just because I don't know. There's not really like because
it's a strange film. Like I think it's one of those where like I see people why they would not take it.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty into everything about
it. I think for me it's mostly just the documentary style means that there's not really any characters I specifically connect with. It's more of like an ensemble kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it's definitely ensemble, and it's like the kind of infighting.
Yeah,
is pretty interesting.
Mumi, do you have any?
It's very spectacle.
How many what?
Do you have any,
balls?
Do you have any balls? Show me your balls.
In your mouth?
Tanuki D's
Do you
balls.
like watching Police Get Beat Up by fucking raccoon testicles? I mean, that alone, that's where I'm at.
I don't know. Like, I don't hate the movie at all. I'd probably put it maybe low B, high C.
Yeah, probably let's here maybe. Let's think.
I'm gonna have to 1 second. I'll look at the stream and hopefully it doesn't kill my connection. I'll see what we put. I mean, you put wherever you want, really, but like you can put it mid B, I guess, if that's where we're kind of feeling.
Yeah,
I'd say about there. It's fine.
Seems about right.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I would, personally, I'm going to put it in the S grade, but that's just to piss. No, I mean, I like it that much, but it will piss people off, and I think it's funny. But like, I'm riding with those fucking balls,
Let's see here then. I guess another movie then that, because I had like weird expectations going in. I didn't really know what to expect from Pom Poko. I had completely misplaced expectations for Whisper of the Heart.
Oh, really?
Because
I mean, yeah, that might be an interesting.
Well, because I saw The Cat Returns first. So I figured that this movie was going to be like a surreal Alice in Wonderland style adventure. No.
See, I thought this was going to be about someone with a heart murmur.
Yeah, I think it's because the title doesn't translate correctly. Because it's actually, that's like a sort of localization.
Mm-hmm.
Because the original doesn't quite work, I think, in English.
I really like this movie.
Oh, actually, this might actually be my favorite Ghibli film in retrospect now. I think it's grown over time. Maybe some of it might be because there's a bitterness in me knowing that Kondo died straight after this.
Yeah, when you said heart murmur, and it immediately made me think like, oh.
Yeah, that heart valve burst.
Yeah, which is very sad.
Too soon.
Pretty fucked up. I also did not at all expect Country Roads to feature so prominently in the movie.
Yes, it does.
To the point when it first started playing.
Did you listen to the Japanese, I take it?
Yeah. I watched the Japanese version.
I would say because that English dub is the one that I hate the most.
Really?
Because it's so, oh God, I hate it so much. I hate it on so many levels.
How does that even work though? Because she is translating the song.
It doesn't work. I don't even know how they fight. They don't translate it all. I don't know. Rewriting it, I think that was what they went with. I can't remember.
Then that makes no sense because why are you rewriting a song in the same language?
Couldn't you have just made it like pretend it was a Japanese song?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But when the movie starts and that song just starts playing, I just kind of burst out laughing because I was like, what the fuck? All right.
Yeah, they just go with it. Yeah. I think it works in its own.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good just sort of like narrative through line for this very
especially the scene with the violin and all that.
Oh, like the band scene.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Playing with the band. That was very cute. But yeah, so I was expecting this movie to be more along the lines of like Cat Returns and like the Baron was going to show up and guide her on this like whimsical adventure. No, the Baron just like shows up in one scene. That just happens, and then it ends.
Of course, because the Baron is a fictional character.
Yes.
Of her world. I think we'll probably get to that later, but I do really like the connective tissue between the two films because it's very meta commentary, but in a really interesting way.
I guess we'll get to them when we get to The Cat Returns.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it might be my favorite Ghibli film now.
Okay, I really like it too. I remember watching it and I was thinking to myself, wow, nothing has happened, an hour has passed, and it's felt like 15 minutes. It's a really well-made movie.
Yeah, I feel very mesmerized by it. And I think it's kind of the opposite of the Totoro thing, where like I this is for me where that element is, where like just the simple act of the visuals, the music, and the pace of just understanding that world sits me in very well. Yeah. In a way that doesn't, but I feel like that's probably how most people feel about Totoro.
Yeah,
I feel it here.
Yeah, I probably need to rewatch Totoro for that sort of idea in mind.
This is like top just 5 for me.
Top 5?
Yeah, I'm definitely.
It's definitely up there for me as well.
I feel Kondo needs his justification here. Like,
yeah.
To be fair, when this film came out, this was the biggest Ghibli film that had been released in Japan.
Was it really?
3 billion yen.
Wow.
I think on release, which probably might be because Anya Mark was also there. That was sweet.
Oh yeah.
And they shoved Miyazaki's name on it, of course, but like his involvement is, I think it was screenplay only, and then Kondo did whatever he wanted from there. I think it was probably a little heightened up.
Where do we want to put it then?
They did whatever they wanted with the story. I mean, I'm putting an S tier. I'm happy to put it there because that's, I feel it might be my top one.
What about you?
I'll have to rewatch.
I'd put it below Only Yesterday.
I would,
I'd also put Only Yesterday in S tier, so.
I feel like
okay.
you're
Is that 2 S tiers?
I feel like
or top A.
You can put on.
I'll accept top A.
Yeah, we can put it on top A. I like how we're like negotiating this.
I don't know how else you're supposed to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what. Well, part of me,
opinions.
what I thought would just be funny is that we just don't give a fuck about the tier system, and we just put every movie in order from like bottom to top. So oldest movie here, and then newest movie here.
Yeah, new movie's good, right?
Yeah.
So I would love to have that opinion. I would love to go into the newest Miyazaki film and go, yep, that's one. All the other ones are shit.
Oh, fuck everything else. Yep.
Peak.
I can't.
This is revolutionary.
I can't wait for. I can't wait for Miyazaki's next movie to just be like all CG.
Rotoscope CG.
Everyone just melts down.
It'll be interesting. I'm really curious what direction they'll go. Yeah, because I feel they actually reversed on CGI in Ponyo, and I think most of Wind Rises too. Mm-hmm. They went like against the other grain again.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. We have literally basically nothing to go. Have either of you read like the book?
No.
The book. It's not even based on the book. I know this. It's just the title.
Oh, okay.
So it's even funny. It literally isn't like they took the title, but they've not adapted.
So we have nothing to go off. Well,
this movie is a fantasy film.
Well, I guess that will come up when the movie comes out and we have Sam go see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It feels to me the assumption I can read is that, especially in Japan, Ghibli is fantasy film. That's how, and I guess we'll get, maybe that'll be the next one. What's next on the fucking list?
We got Princess Mononoke.
Yes, this is the film that will solidify that.
Yeah.
That like Ghibli is fantasy. Like Ghibli films that we see are fantasy, fantastical films mixed with the mundane really properly. Like this film really solidifies that, and then Spirited Away just fucking hammers it down.
Yeah.
And that's the films that do best for Ghibli.
Princess Mononoke is my favorite Ghibli movie, I'd say.
Oh, interesting.
It was my favorite for a long time.
I just finished making a video on it. Plug.
I have no hope. I don't know. Maybe that video will be out by the time that this video comes out.
I assume so. It's probably come out soon.
Yeah. That video is basically done, isn't it?
Yeah, it's completely done.
So you're just waiting on like advertisers and copyright.
I think it's good. I'm waiting on. Now I'm a bit more suspicious of copyright because I thought it would get striked. Like because I'm the guy, I made the video with the intention that it would get striked before I could release it, so I could do copyright before I put it out, and it didn't happen.
Okay.
So now I'm like, what the fuck do I do? I have no plan here. I just have to kind of like throw it out and hope it doesn't get striked.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. Yeah. So I think for me, the main thing I love about Princess Mononoke is kind of what you were talking about, is like the fantasy aspect of it. Because this movie has a very unique tone to it, and I think it feels very like an epic in a lot lot of ways.
It is, yeah for sure. It's very Kurosawa.
Yeah, and Kurosawa, like sort of like mythic epic to it. That I really love.
Yes,
because this was 95, 96,
97.
The production starts in 94. The film comes out in 97.
Okay.
But the film's production animation starts in 95. It's the first 2-year production cycle.
Okay.
Which is where the scale is much bigger.
Yeah.
And technically, it might have been one of the biggest films ever. Now, they talk about Steam Boy, but Steam Boy's budget is actually bollocks. I think this film actually was technically far more expensive. Because usually they don't add... What they did with Steam Boy and Akira is they throw in the marketing budget with it.
Oh,
the marketing budget's another $1 billion on top. So this film in total is probably 3.4 billion if you can't consider the marketing. in cost. Maybe a bit more because of the expansion from there, like extra fees. But that's probably what the total cost of the production was.
I can see it because this movie is well, it's technically only still 2 hours, but within that 2 hours, it's like very like massive. All
2:15, I think.
All these like set pieces and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's really big.
Yeah,
there's one point I actually make in my video, which isn't I probably at the video I don't really qualify it because I'm hoping my audience is mature enough to understand this, but like I kind of compare Nausicaa and this in terms of their scale and show a lot of scenes that are similar and how they handle that.
I can definitely see that.
And you can see that like there's much more detail, much more density in Mononoke. It doesn't necessarily mean that's better, but that's just what's going on.
Well, these are the movies that, Nausicaa and Princess Mononoke are the movies that depict like all-out war, basically.
Yes, and that's why the advertising campaign in Japan focused on that connection point. They said 13 years after Nausicaa in the first trailer. Okay. Specifically to relate that, but they are similar types of films. And technically they were perceived at the same time because Princess Mononoke actually is older than Nausicaa because the first pitch was made in 1980.
Really? Wow. I actually think I remember that. I remember reading that somewhere.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got the original pitch around. You can buy a book of it because they turned it into like an illustrated
book. Oh, yeah. I think I've seen it maybe on like Sad Panda or something.
Yeah. They translate it too.
Yeah.
But, during the 90s, just before this film came out, they released the pitch as like promotion.
Yeah, I think of Miyazaki's like, kind of green message movies. This one's kind of the most digestible in like a kind of casual sense.
Yeah. Well, I think it still goes back to the stuff he was talking about all the way back in like Future Boy Conan, where it's the sort of duality of technology and development, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the film is actually about resource management because it's about the scarcity situation in a lot of factors.
It pairs well with Pom Poko in that regard.
Environment and resources.
Yeah, it almost kind of feels like a companion piece to like Pom Poko. In regards to that, Pom Poko obviously takes place.
It is the more cowardly approach.
More cowardly approach.
Yeah, it's because Takahata talks to the screen, and Miyazaki makes this film about love and
makes this film about makes a love story in the context of a massive ecological war.
Takahata went balls out.
Yeah, he put his balls out, and Miyazaki hid his balls once again.
I would be willing to put this at number 1 right now.
That's interesting. I've never had it's kind of an interesting one. I think it's good. I don't have any personal connection to it.
Okay.
I think after rewatching it for the video, after learning everything, I definitely respect the craft because this was like one of the worst productions I've ever fucking heard of.
Really?
This is fucking nightmare shit. Yeah, this is just awful. And that's like in comparison to Ghibli stuff. But it's just longer, right? And it's just messy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like it's just a nightmare.
Well, this is the end of cell animation, basically.
Yeah, it effectively is. And in some ways, people would say it may have put the coffin in there. Well, it may have smashed the coffin because about 10-15% of this film is digital and you won't even be able to tell. Yeah. Most people will not know the difference. I can see the difference sometimes because I know like how to look for it.
Worms.
But there are a lot of shots where you can't even see it.
You can kind of see if you really like look for it though.
It's about color density basically because it's 8-bit color instead of 16-bit. So there are some bits where like the color and the density, like the sort of clarity of the shot is a little bit different, but there are some shots where you can't even tell.
Yeah, it's very interesting. We'll get to this even more in the next movie. This kind of marks like the end of an era and the start of a new one in a lot of ways when it comes to animation in Japan.
There's actually an Oshii quote as well where he literally says that like that Ghibli needs to hold the responsibility to do this because no other studio is big enough to make that change now, and it can do it first.
Your cat is very takes.
Oh, you can hear her. Yeah. She's.
Well, I guess that also kind of ties into just the movie, the story of the movie itself, because the movie itself is the end of one era and the start of another, essentially.
Absolutely, they kind of like they sort of match.
Yeah. I'd be fine putting it in S.
S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier.
I mean, it seems if it's the popular one, I think it's pretty good. So I'll take it. It's definitely a popular one, and it also is very important for the studio for a manner of reasons.
I would say
breaking every box office record.
It's like my top 3 Ghibli. I'd say like visually, it's in my top 3, and then like.
Yeah, I think from a set piece perspective, like the action scenes in this one are hard to really top, especially the opening, which is probably the most impressive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it's hard to argue against it being S tier, but
it goes hard.
Yeah. I mean, I also just love all the characters. Lady Ibushi and Jiko are 2 of my favorite, like just villains.
They're very fun. The cat's gonna come in the room now, so she might start screaming.
I love Bob Thornton.
Oh yeah, Billy Bob Thornton voices Jiko in the dub. I like the dub. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean the behind the scenes on that dub is fucking insane.
Oh yeah, what Alpert talks about.
Yeah, he mentioned it, but some of it is just like God Almighty. How like the localization of it sounds like a fucking nightmare. Yeah. But even the sound design, because Miramax seems to have just tried to sabotage the film. Yeah. So like they had to have a second engineer come in and be like, remove that sound. That's not in the original. That's not in the original. And they did that, and there was like 2,000 sounds. So they had to go through every second and be like, remove that sound, remove that sound, remove that sound, remove that sound. Because they had just layered it with fucking Superman noises and high-pitched things and sound of butterflies' wings. Every time it was quiet, they just added shit. They had to just go through it piece by piece and just remove it all.
Cool that they basically said fuck you to Harvey Weinstein, though.
Yeah, they did they didn't. Well, he didn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Because the story sometimes gets heightened. I mean, I actually make a weird animated avant-garde version in my video.
Interesting.
Which was the only way I thought I could express it. The short of it is that, I don't know, I feel in some ways there's two stories, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a story where Suzuki is being a dickhead when he should be worried about production, and he's gone off to New York to see Weinstein, and this is probably just after production, but he's talking about it like a year beforehand. He's planning it. He buys his fucking replica katana.
Yeah.
During the production getting really fucked.
The famous
and he's
katana
like
story.
Running around the studio, be like, look at my katana, look at my katana.
Oh god. Ooh. Yeah, then he basically sends the katana to Weinstein. It's like no cuts.
He takes it he takes it in person.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But the thing is, they haven't talked about cuts yet. So this is all vanity.
Oh, well, I guess it's probably partially informed by what happened with Nausicaa.
No, it's not even
really.
Not even,
Is it literally just Suzuki being a madman?
Weinstein's reputation before being a sex pest was that.
Right.
Rapist was that he cut international films. Yeah. That was his reputation, and that's what he's known for. So Suzuki has probably been told this, and he went to his office to talk about the film. There was no talk about cuts at all. It was just strictly to talk to this is like an early meeting. So he just went in there as for formality, effectively, to talk to them and like meet them and such. And he just brings his sword out and goes, "Mononoke Himeo, no cut." And everyone in the office is like, what the fuck? What the absolute fuck are you doing? And even Weinstein's like, no, we'd never dare cut the film, but we probably need to do something about the translation's a bit dry. We need to get someone in that.
That's a pretty funny story. That's even like funnier than what I've like originally heard, which this story gets like constantly muddied. Like I think I've heard like versions where it's like Miyazaki is like the one with the sword.
No, Miyazaki never. Yeah. I think it's a little bit too crass for even Miyazaki. It's a total Suzuki.
Yeah, that seems very in character.
He literally did it. I swear he did this, and it's very smart. He did it just for the press because he knew it would get picked up.
Yeah,
it's just press.
Yeah,
because people talking about 20 years after.
Yeah, if there's one thing Suzuki is good at, it is press.
Yeah, he knows how to make a fucking scene.
Yeah.
Sometimes for the wrong reasons.
So if Princess Mononoke is the end of an era, My Neighbor the Yamadas is the start of a very interesting one.
Absolutely. Again, this is actually another one of my favorites.
Oh, I love this movie.
Probably an uncommon one. I love it. I haven't watched it in ages, but I want to watch it.
So I watched this movie for this video, and I was mesmerized by like every second because I love how this movie looks.
And some of the coolest things about it is the animators they got on this project, because this is like some of them had worked at Ghibli before, but this is where they got to really kind of do their thing. So like you've got like Ohira, you've got Ohira's friend,
Ohira's on
I forget his name, like Shinji Ohara, is it?
Shinya Ohira.
Hashimoto, is it?
What?
Because Ohira, you've got Shinya Ohira, right? And then he's got his friend who always works with him.
Let me see here.
It might be Hashimoto. I'm trying to remember his name.
Pull this up on NADB. Let's see here.
There's a lot of very interesting animators on it.
Oh yeah, Masashi Ando.
Yeah, Ando being the supervisor of the Blast film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very prolific.
Which, have you seen The Deer King, by the way?
I haven't yet. I probably will.
Yeah, I didn't check that out as well.
That's his first directorial.
Yeah. Which it definitely like feels kind of reminiscent of Mononoke.
Oh yeah, I mean he was the guy that spent all this time awake from like all day until 4 a.m. like touching art, basically doing cuts.
Anyway, so I think for me, because like the Yamadas works on multiple levels, because the movie fundamentally has like no overarching structure. It's just a series of vignettes, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I think that works because of the minimalist manga-esque art style of the movie. If this looked like an Only Yesterday, for example, I don't think that sort of you could get away with that sort of structure. But because everything is so minimal and different, that sort of just different stories, different vignettes, different ideas being played out in sequence, I think that works a lot better because of the art style.
I think the original is a 4-coma.
Yeah, I believe it's a yonkoma. And
there.
there's a TV anime adaptation as well. Came out after the movie.
Interesting.
It's not subbed, I don't think, but I'd like to check that out at some point.
Yeah, because I imagine you would be able to see the just dramatic difference in style. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is an expression of real creativity in a very loose manner.
Yeah. And they really take advantage of the fact that they're working now in digital to the fullest extent.
Yeah, because it is pure digital. A lot of it, I think, is them scanning in textures and them working out like the brushwork and how things are going to... Because they do a lot of different effects. Like there's that one rainy shot, which is really interesting, where like the dramatic difference between the outside shot and the inside shot, if I remember right, with like the sort of like melting sort of
I think I know
watercolors at the outside.
Yeah, I also just like love the just general vibe of the movie, kind of like dry,
really comfy,
family-driven humor. I saw a poster for this while I was putting this tier list together. Because I originally had like a text version of it, like with like where it was like the posters, but with like the title on it as well. And I saw this poster and I just thought to myself, nah, that text is just from the fucking Simpsons.
Oh my God.
I'll see if I can find it. But what do you think about My Neighbor the Yamadas?
Futura.
It's a fun movie. It's not one of those that has like a huge lasting impact as far as like in like a vacuum, like a Princess Mononoke or like Spirited Away maybe later on.
Well, it's actually kind of interesting you say that, because from this project they created Ghibli's, which is actually a follow-through on the techniques, and all the techniques that made this film are probably the stuff that was all that foundation that's set here is how they would have made Kaguya.
Yeah.
Like, this
is a direct antecedent to Kaguya.
It was definitely inspirational as far as like, it was definitely what's the word? It's not inspirational. What am I thinking of?
Influential.
It's definitely influential as far as like a production standpoint goes.
Yeah, and the people who worked on it too, like this is really kind of like a breakout for O'Hara and some of the others, and Yuasa.
Yuasa also is on this.
Oh yeah.
And those are the kind of people, like the sort of stuff they're doing here had been stuff they're doing prior, especially during the sort of realist era, but they kind of start bringing up that kind of more raw pencil look.
Yeah.
And that, which you will see them to like follow through on their own projects later on in their own direction.
You look at like especially so many like later Yuasa works, and the way that he's like
even like Animatrix.
Yeah.
Which O'Hara is like a huge vehicle.
Oh yeah.
For the skate, the boy one with the skateboard.
It's interesting that Yuasa's on this and on Chibi Maruko, the movie for that one.
Yeah. These sort of because they similar energy.
Yeah.
This and also and
I think he used to work at that studio though, wasn't it? Because he worked at that studio for years before he went freelance.
Yeah.
The one that does that and Shin-chan.
But where do we place the Yamadas?
I think it's not for everyone. I really like it. I don't know if it's been too long since I've seen it to really wonder if it's better, if it's Pom Poko or this one. But I think this was the one that for a long time was my favorite.
Okay.
In terms of Takahata.
I mean, this one's definitely like high up there for me.
One.
I would put it in B, but I'm flexible with it. Put it high B,
we could go for bottom of A if we're being compromising.
I don't know if
I would accept it over Nausicaa. I'll give it. I'll let Nausicaa lower on that one.
I think I'll settle for low A.
Yeah, I think that's a very respectable place for it. Especially just like some of those animation sequences.
Oh yeah, crazy. Absolutely. Like again, going back to the fact that they're not working in cell, they're doing a lot of interesting stuff, especially in terms of how they're interacting between the characters in the background.
Yeah, like the TV on the background, like they do this very lucid like baseball game that's just on the screen. It's radically different. It's like different animation styles hitting each other.
And next we have the most popular fucking movie ever made, Spirited Away.
2 decades straight, only beaten by that fucking demon train.
It's a demon train.
The only beaten by the fucking demon. I guess Your Name also beat it out.
Only for a little bit, then China made it Spirited Away 1 again.
And then
China had been pirating Spirited Away for 20 years, so everyone had seen it, and it finally got an official release.
And then everyone went to go see it.
And it got made about $70 million plus.
Oh my god!
And that made it over the top again.
It deserves the hype. I think it's a great movie.
I just finished watching it again, and I originally thought this about the film, and I'd wondered about this, and I found out I was completely wrong, because I at first assumed, like, well, the reason this film really would have taken off stateside, especially, is I thought, like, well, Disney would have definitely went for this one, because this is far more like their prototype kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
A lot more whimsical and magical. And then I found out, no, that's actually not the case at all.
Really?
They saw the film, and they were like, we think it's great, but we think it's too niche. This is after it was the biggest Japanese film of all time. This is what they told... Yeah, they told Alpa and everyone on the production. They were like, yeah, we don't actually think it's going to do very well. We're like, nah, we think it's great, but we just don't think that Americans will watch this film. It's too niche.
How insulting. And then it went on to win a fucking
then
Academy
it won an Oscar,
Award.
and they had to reassess their plans a little bit, and they put a little bit more money in. They did a second, basically, run-through with it. As soon as it won the Oscar, it had a second screening, which was 750 screens instead of 200, which is what they gave it.
I like to think that Disney saw that Shrek and this movie won Academy Awards before any of their shit, and then they just said to themselves, never again.
Well, here's the thing. This was part of Disney's plan, at least some people at Disney, that this won. And I think that there was a little bit, because the Oscars are bullshit, right?
They're a complete sham.
Somebody in the Disney department, like, if it was...
Disney owns ABC.
Disgraced producer, fucking John Lasseter, or if it was someone on Alpert's side, pushed it very hard to be an Oscar winner, and nothing else was really on the table that could win. And Disney had basically had the run of the mill at that point, so it was like, yeah, you win.
Yeah, I think it's. I recently watched G-Kids put out a taping of the stage play adaptation of Spirited Away. Yeah, I saw it's an interesting adaptation. I don't know if it fully works as a stage play, because there's just like so many like set pieces, and the layout of the bathhouse and all that stuff doesn't really lend itself to...
Yeah, it'd be probably quite hard to do.
Yeah, well, they had like a rotating set and stuff. It was interesting to see.
I mean, that's cool.
The story was still largely the same, and I still really like the story. The only thing I don't really care for that much, and I don't dislike it, but I'm not in love with it, is specifically Haku's character.
Oh, yeah?
Haku's I'm just kind of like, he's all right. I like the payoff with his character at the end.
Yeah, it's nice. He's serviceable.
Sucks in the
what I find interesting about it,
sucks in the
at least what I know about it now, is that it's another situation where Miyazaki was really fucked, because he was writing the story quite quickly, and he quickly realizes, I've wrote a 3-hour script.
Oh,
I've wrote a 3-hour script. I've been making a 3-hour storyboard. Oh, what do we do? Because that can't happen.
You can't make a 3-hour
and they had that movie. Yeah, if you do a break, you'll break before it finishes.
Yeah, that's just not tenable. So how do you cut it down?
Basically transforming the whole thing. The second half, I think, was completely rewritten, and they cut a bunch of the beginning, because the beginning of the storyboard is actually them moving. So it's them moving boxes and stuff, and that goes on for quite a while.
Okay.
So I think fundamentally the story... my cat's screaming again. She's angry. I'm talking about
just like peak fiction, best Ghibli movie.
Yeah, yeah. She goes. So I mean, yeah, I feel like they fundamentally changed a lot, because I remember hearing at one point there was going to be like a big epic like fantasy battle with her sister, with the Baba.
Really?
Sister.
Okay, I'm glad that you didn't go down that route, because I love how that whole ordeal plays out.
Yeah, I prefer the newer version, but I feel that was a compromise of, okay, well, if we went that way, that would be lots of effort, that would be lots of energy, and it would come after this 3-hour version of the film. And originally, like, there is a version in which the sourness of Chihiro stays much longer and becomes more pivotal of the character. And you can kind of see it in the film, especially rewatching it just now. I really noticed there's what we call a complete transformation point at the end of part B, where the film dramatically changes into something completely different. And that seems to be a fight of the internal ego once again, as Ando had a lot of responsibility on the film at first. You know, the person who was a supervisor last time, you know, when the NTV were talking about it, they were saying they were equals, quote. He was the character designer, and he had a lot of importance about how the film would look and the animation and the kind of style. And they wanted to go for something that was a bit more like, a lot more like interpersonal, a lot more sour, a lot less about like that Miyazaki, what we were talking about before, right? With Kiki, like Kiki is not the perfect Miyazaki girl. And what happens in Spirited Away is that sour character, who is pretty much there for the first part A and part B, has that kind of victory within their own terms, and then magically transforms in part C to a Miyazaki girl.
Right. Are you specifically talking about the the dirty water god.
After that is finished, she dramatically changes.
Mm-hmm. Well, she becomes much more proactive.
She becomes yeah, like I feel like there's a sort of compromise with the dirty creature in that, like, you know, it's very stinky. They're trying their best. They're still klutzing around a bit. They're being awkward. They do it in the end, but it's through very specific means that they were able to do it. And a lot of help. And my cat's here again.
Shut up!
She never shuts up.
It's Steve's cats and your dogs.
She figures I'm talking to him. Even. All right. Yeah, like there's a fundamental change. I think the real fundamental change you see is when she starts running across that, like, the metal, like, I don't know what you call them, like piping.
Oh, and it's like collapsing.
When she starts... Yeah, because that's an action goal.
Right,
so like, before in the film, she couldn't even go down some fucking stairs. Now she's like running across that. Mm-hmm. It's like, Jesus Christ. And she's doing it like perfectly as well. She's not like klutzing it anymore. She's not falling. That element of the film is just gone at that point. Yeah, it's just, no, this character is going to be a hero, a heroine. Is going to run up. It's going to hide in the Baba's like base and do all this crazy shit to do it and break through a window to get there.
I wonder how much of that was like... influenced by Princess Mononoke's success. Like they wanted to do like the whole battle sequence at the end and like having her become more of a competent like action hero.
I think it is all just Miyazaki's ego, because I feel through the production he probably started feeling better again, because, you know, there's that original talk where he starts murmuring about this idea of retirement. And then Takuma Shoten a couple months later is like, no, that's not happening. Absolutely not, that's not happening. And they make a press conference. And then Miyazaki goes, well, I never technically said I was retiring. I just said I couldn't do as much work as I used to, which is his backpedaling. He kind of said he was retiring, sort of ish. He was kind of going for it, but it took about 2 months for them to be like, no, that's not the case.
Okay.
And then this film happens, right? And he's like, well, my eyes are shit now, so I can't check every frame. My hands are like all bloated and like, you know, they're all like, they hurt. And that's why Ando was supposed to take more responsibility. He was supposed to do, and I think he did most of the corrections, or like a good portion. Okay. Miyazaki's still there. But that's why Ando's like input is like there. There's some talk about it where like Ando was like, I wanted Rin to have big womanly features, and Miyazaki didn't, and ultimately Miyazaki wins out.
I'm now imagining a womanly featured Sen.
Well, it's funny that you say that. We talked about the death god theory. What do we think about the theory for Spirited Away?
I don't even know that was a theory. God, that makes me...
Where it's like...
You're not talking about No Face being an incel, right?
What?
You're not talking about like the No Face is an incel video, right?
No.
Oh my God, is that a thing? Oh my God.
That's a thing. Yeah, I'm sorry for you to have had to learn that.
Here's another little factoid where that doesn't make any sense. No Face wasn't even supposed to be a predominant character in the original version.
Really?
That happens later. That was a last minute change. Like how the character looked, it was supposed to be once on the bridge and that was it. And then I think when the story starts changing, they started using them as a more predominant character in the story, that moving it forward.
You know, the theory for Spirited Away is that the bathhouse is just a metaphor for sex work.
Oh. I mean, I could see that more. Actually, there's a funny story where Miyazaki said that the inspiration was actually Peruvian child slaves.
Oh, God.
I guess that explains the Peruvian food in every fucking Ghibli movie.
Yeah. that might be a Hisashi thing.
I feel like
he said he was watching a
sex work
documentary
thing
about
has a
child
bit more
slaves in Peru and was like, okay.
I feel like the sex work thing has a bit more credence to it than like the Totoro death god thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's sometimes, you get a lot of this. A lot of it's kind of revisionist, where sometimes you might hear Suzuki go, well, it's kind of like a metaphor about working at Ghibli. You know, because you come in all young and spry, and then it's not exactly what you think, and you have a horrible time.
Parents turn into pigs.
And then there'll be the people who become the person that Miyazaki wants them to, and the ones that turn into pigs.
Guess that explains Porco Rosso.
Yeah.
Miyazaki was the pig the whole time.
He always is.
After he had Goro.
He had him quite young, to be fair. That's his firstborn.
Yeah. So I guess where do we place? Where do we want to place Spirited Away then?
I want to put it in
I think it's a great film, but like I'm not attached to it in a strong way. I think it's really solid. First full digital film with a plan, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
In the traditional cell format. And they really use it in interesting ways.
Yeah.
Like, as someone who like knows how to look for compositing, you can kind of see where it is.
Well, I think the most standout sequence is the flowers.
Yeah, you can see those. That's like perspective composites. The first shot you're probably going to see is the CG like totems. And then one of the bigger ones is that there is no limit to how much they can composite now. So there are some shots where they use like 1,000 layers or something stupid.
What the fuck?
Like the scene with the little soot creatures. Each of those is a different composite. So it's a different layer because it'll be like it's texture, it's color, then it's the animation, and it's them running around.
Huh.
So that entire sequence, I think, has so many layers. The opening one.
All rendered on less than a gigabyte, probably.
Yeah, probably. But, they could spend like 2 years rendering out or something.
Yeah, on like a personal level, I kind of would just put an A. Because, like, it's not like my favorite Ghibli movie. But
it's solid. It's also, I guess, it's, you could say it's the one that's left quite the impact over the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a couple of the rankings.
If I say that about Princess Mononoke, as far as like, it's hard to put it outside of S tier. Just because of its impact, I feel like the argument applies for Spirited Away.
You could say for A for definitely. I mean, it's nothing to snuff at that. You like the biggest Japanese film for 20 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like like not even
also that
not even close for like so long.
Yeah, when you see the polls as well, over the years it seems to get bigger because obviously the longer people have experienced the film, the higher it goes up the list. So the latest polls I've seen has it at number 2 or number 1, depending. And usually it's like Totoro and that in Japan.
And then I guess where?
I'm fine. I think A tier is pretty respectable. Where in A tier, I'm not really that bothered.
Okay. I propose like a slight reorganization where.
Yeah. I guess the question is, which of these are Miyazaki? So I guess, do you think it's better than Castle in the Sky or not?
I would say I like this more than Castle in the Sky.
So I think it's long as ahead of that.
I like it more. I like Castle in the Sky more, but if we're talking about like a broader scope, I'm all right with putting Spirited Away.
So I'm thinking for
at the top of A tier.
So I'm thinking for A tier, then it can be like.
I do think it has a really great soundtrack, but I also think Castle in the Sky's original soundtrack's really good. I never really forget that the Disney soundtrack like re-orchestrated stuff.
Oh yeah,
which is like it made it more boring, and I was like, oh yeah. Okay. Because the original soundtrack it's like a nice mix between orchestral and like synth stuff, and the newer one is just all orchestral.
So I guess A tier right now is Whisper of the Heart, Only Yesterday, Kiki's, Yamada's, Spirited Away, Laputa.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Sounds like a nice selection.
All right. Next, The Cat Returns.
I feel like we've already lost like a bunch of people after not putting Spirited Away in S tier. They just rage quit.
Cry about it.
They just rage quit. You put the fucking Yamadas over Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe you fucking put Spirited Away in A tier. It should be S tier.
It's like, deal with it. Deal with it. Come on. Deal with it. Like, look, A tier is a really respectable tier.
Yeah.
There's enough people love this. It won a fucking Oscar. I mean, come on.
It can win an Oscar, but it can't be an S tier.
Yeah, because Oscars suck. So actually, I think it loses a point for winning one. That's my perspective. In fact, I'm actually willing to put it in the B tier just for that.
Throw it in D tier.
Yeah, D tier just to get them.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting little film in that it's nice. It's short but sweet.
Yeah.
Not exactly very impactful, but I do kind of like the meta narrative to me is just so interesting because it's a first time director, and technically it's supposed to be if you read it from the last film's perspective, this is like is it Shisu? Is it Shisu? What's the name? What's the name of Shimizu? Is Shimizu? No, it's Shi something.
Let me see.
What's a girl called? Fucking. I should know this. I said it was my favorite film. I can't remember her name. Damn.
Oh, in Whisper of the Heart.
Yeah. I feel like it's Shi something.
It's I'm so bad with names. Shizuku.
Okay. Yeah. So like I feel like that's her first novel, or like her first adaptation of a novel, and that like we see versions of it in Whisper of the Heart, but this is like what it becomes.
Right.
And even like the musical, this was a really nice feature that I feel like I'm like the one person who noticed it because I remember bringing it up once, where like it uses motifs from Whisper of the Heart occasionally when it relates to stuff that happened in Whisper of the Heart, like really subtly orchestrally. Doesn't even bring attention to it, and I think that's really cool.
Oh yeah. I guess another thing that and I guess this actually goes back to Pom Poko is that Masahiko Otsuka, now head of Trigger, started on Pom Poko, then worked on Whisper of the Heart and this.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the animators on it, because of the time it was made, it was sometime during Spirited Away, a lot of them are quite fresh. I think a lot of them are like WebGen animators, and some of them might have been like remnants from Yamadas too. So I feel like that's kind of what the crew is, and you've got a pretty young director. And I think, the composer, I'm pretty sure, is the same as Whisper of the Heart. I think it's the follow-through. So
I'd have to check.
That's why they
Let's Go was not on Cat Returns, my bad.
I watched
think
this movie for the first time yesterday.
Yeah, I feel for a lot of people it probably doesn't. I think it's a perfectly fine, tiny little film.
Yeah.
I don't imagine it's on a lot of the height of people's lists. I have some nice memories of it just because, it was the first time I saw one of these Ghibli films on television. It was the first time I was like, "What the hell is this?" But yeah, it's not crazily impactful. I think for most people,
but it's a nice
story.
75 minutes. It's over and done.
Yeah,
it's that's a nice little story.
Got,
I kept putting it off.
Really nice color
because it's always. Oh, god damn it! Now my dogs are going crazy. I always put it off because it's always kind of ranked pretty low, so I was like, I never was in a hurry to watch it. And then it just gets put on the back burner, so I never ended up watching it. So watching it yesterday, I didn't know really what to I kind of knew what to expect, but given the general discourse around it and what level it is, you don't really ever know what to expect with popular films because Earwig, we'll talk about, has a certain reputation, and then you watch it.
Oh boy, does it! Yeah.
This I was not a fan of. It's okay.
I don't think you hate it. I just don't think you really care for it.
I think I was talking to you about it. It lacks that's it's more of an action heavy film than
it's very swashbuckling.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the character in its action that a lot of its the Ghibli films do.
Right.
I think of Kiki, how it's so mundane, but then when there is action, there's that freneticism to it that's very very iconic with Miyazaki in general, his way of animation. Whereas this doesn't even have that.
I mean, some of that's going to be the heavy hitting of the cast because we with Kiki has some insane animators, and some of them were quite unhappy to work on it because they kind of had a rude awakening. You've got Koji of what would be the famous shit?
4C.
Matsumoto, is it? Yeah, 4C. He's an animator on that film.
Oh, really? Koji.
Some of the flight scenes.
What the fuck is his name? I can't remember. I cannot remember his name now. What's his last name?
Being unhappy about working on it. I think it's Matsumoto. Is it Matsumoto?
I'm literally just gonna pull up something made by 4C.
No, Koji. He worked on Memories. He did the first part of Memories.
Yeah.
With, Con.
But yeah, I was not enamored by this film really.
I mean, I think it's a fine movie. I think it's pretty enjoyable.
I don't think there's a bad
Koji Morimoto.
Sweet Simple.
I don't know if there's really a bad Ghibli movie, but this was definitely the one I'm
it makes me want to vomit. No.
This is definitely one of the ones I'm least enthused about.
That's fine. I think it's
I think it's a fine director debut piece with some nice little cuts, nice little color, kind of its own thing, but not going to break the bank. It's 70 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, I think based on what we have here, I think High C is fair.
Yeah, I think that's a respectable place for it. I once chatted to the director on Twitter.
Oh.
When I was making a video on the film, because I asked him some stuff about it, because I was curious, because he kind of kept going, and he's done pretty well for himself. He's done some TV shows and such, and I was kind of curious if he was going to come back to directing movies or not.
From Save Studio Ghibli.
He'd hope to. Well, I'm probably not at Ghibli because I think he's doing his own thing now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he could have. I mean, I've always kind of been it's Suzuki's fault that they never picked proper successors because I think he's kind of ruined it for them. It seems like he burns the bridges and then people just leave because they don't have enough creative control or feelings that they have a part in the studio, which also happens with Ando, who leaves the studio after Spirited Away.
It's also how we're going to get Studio Ponok, I imagine.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, definitely. Especially since that's also one of the producers splitting off.
Yeah.
And Suzuki kind of badmouthed their last, but we'll get to that.
Well, next up we have another creative control battle. Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, that's one I'm be making a video about soon as well. Though I've only looked into it passively, but there's definitely some bits I find really fascinating. In terms of like the way it's painted, is that this is Suzuki like literally. I almost feel like he's specifically using Hosoda as a patsy. Because the way Hosoda tells the story is that he pitched like 3 or 4 different versions of the film that he knew would be House Moon Castle, and all of them were rejected.
So it was basically just like submit your ideas, and then they just reject it. Basically, just giving him the runaround, essentially.
Yeah, it sounds like what they wanted was him to be a puppeteered Miyazaki.
Huh.
So maybe if Miyazaki decided to want to direct the film, they could easily replace him.
Yeah. I mean, I still like.
Feel that
I
might have happened there
I still really like this movie. Production drama aside, I still really like this movie.
Actually, yeah, out of the 3 most popular films, this is my favorite. So out of Mononoke, Straight Away, and this one, yeah, this is definitely my favorite of the 3. 100%.
Movie, I guess you're the odd man out here because you don't like this movie, you fucking asshole. You loser, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I think he was quite low on your tier list.
Yeah, I would put it in D.
It's kind of interesting though.
No.
What led you to that? Because I'm kind of curious what parts of it made it so.
I just don't I don't know. Nothing about it really resonated with me. I think it's interesting, the way they handle the castle. I don't know, as a story, it just doesn't do anything for me. I guess
the story is very strange. Everything about this movie is weird. The structure of the movie, the events that happen, and the witch that's set up at the start is then just turned into this feeble old woman halfway through, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
Now, some of that I can't really recall as much as I'd like to, but this is actually an adaptation of a British novel.
Yeah.
So a lot of the formation of the plot. Now, the thing with Miyazaki is he radically changes pretty much all his adaptations.
Of course, yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the beats of this story are still from the novel.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
There are dramatic changes in the characters and how they act, but I feel that the foundation of the story still hits a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
And it's not a one-part story. I think this is really important to recognize.
Oh yeah, it's like 3 books or something.
Yes, so this is actually one piece of a bigger story where they have to end very quickly.
Right. Yeah.
And obtusely.
So it does kind of have a bit of an unwieldy sort of story to it, where there's also all these characters. But I also just I think the core of the movie, though, it's probably the most overt Miyazaki really gets with his theming, I'd say, because the ending of the movie is very obviously war cannot be prevented by fighting war. It will turn you into an evil bird monster. War is fought by doing small good deeds.
Yeah, that sounds very much there, but it also kind of reads to me in that Miyazaki is too cowardly to do war, because some readings of this film come up with when I think he'd mentioned himself about it's like Iraq War. It's like, bro, this is not the Iraq War. Bro, this is not the Iraq War. The Iraq War does not end because you find the prince at the end.
Interesting. The prince is Osama bin Laden and weapons of mass destruction. See, it's all very symbolic.
I feel like yeah, of course. It's just Lord of the Rings all over again.
Oh God, his Lord of the Rings takes or so. But Miyazaki just has L takes left and right.
Oh God, you probably shouldn't go in the video, maybe. Is it Israel Palestine one?
No, oh no.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
What's this Israel Palestine?
Because he's like, yeah, he like in an interview for Spirited Away, he just starts talking about it. And he goes, my friend had this other idea about creating a fake. He was like, we're going to create a new island and we're going to give that to someone else. He was like, we're going to create a landmass and then they can go there instead.
Is this an interview not available in English?
No, I think it's in Turning Point, in his Turning Point book.
Oh, okay.
It's not like a commonly cited one. Though that Turning Point also has this Lord of the Rings take.
Oh. Yeah, it's a
funny one.
That's an interesting perspective. Anyway, I think it's fair to put this movie in B tier, probably.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think ultimately, even though I can tell there was definitely some problems. Also, this is the one film that got delayed.
Really?
Which I think tells me that must be a fucking nightmare behind the scenes. I'll have to read more into it. But yeah, this film, because Miyazaki films come out in July. That's what Suzuki has set. And he's really not usually for removing that. Even now, like the newest film comes out in July.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. Since Kiki, that's when the film started making money. They all come out in July.
It's the summer movie.
That's the idea. That's the Ghibli July.
Ghibli July. That's a good one.
Yep. And this film comes out in November because they need an extra 3 months.
Oh, okay.
So they couldn't finish it.
And you said you're going to make a video on this as well at some point?
Oh yeah, I think this one I've been wanting to do for ages because it just sounds like such a shit show. And I like the drama. I like the hose of the perspective, and I like the fucking sabotage and the fucking throwing Miyazaki. Miyazaki's like, no, I'm definitely retired, and he's like, no, actually, no, I'm not. Comes in and has to make the film, and I almost feel like Suzuki set up Hoster to fall because he's like, he knew Hoster would leave, and then Miyazaki would feel like, oh, now I have to take over.
And
I feel like that's really ugly.
That's really gonna fuck Miyazaki over with the next movie. But I think putting this mid B tier is probably all right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan, so I'm happy. And I mean, I'd probably go even
just
higher.
Based on what we have, I'm gonna say probably.
I think
like
it's definitely filled with problems, but I do think the core of it. Actually, funny enough, this is actually Oshi's favorite Miyazaki.
Is it
film.
really? Okay.
Yeah, he had an interview once, I remember, and he was asked, I think when he was talking to Suzuki about it, he was like, no, it's this one.
I think I remember reading that somewhere.
Yeah. I'm alright with it being mid B tier.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Now let's talk about...
when it works, I think it really works.
Now let's talk about... So Miyazaki forces Hosoda gets forced out on Howl's Moving Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Miyazaki takes over.
Yep.
And then they get the rights to do Earthsea. But Hayao Miyazaki is too busy directing Howl's. So who are they going to get to direct Earthsea?
Wow, that's another Suzuki decision.
That's another Suzuki bright idea. Again, really feels like Suzuki was almost setting Goro Miyazaki up to fail.
I feel actually this is a vanity project for Suzuki though, because he loves Dynasty.
Yeah, well, I guess there's also that angle to it as well.
And ultimately, Suzuki has really only ever been able to get Miyazaki to like really succeed strongly. Mm-hmm. Like, he needs that name, and I think having the name Miyazaki on there...
Just any Miyazaki.
It doesn't matter if it's Goro or not. It says Miyazaki, right? That's how I think he looks at it. And that film didn't do particularly, like, terrible. Like, it made money. So, like, it's not like it's even wrong. But it's also very interesting to me, because I've read the whole production diary for this film, and this film did... So most of these films end in like fucking nightmares, and then they just barely hit. This film was ahead of schedule and finished.
Really?
Just on like, and it makes me feel like, oh, so the problem is Miyazaki and Suzuki.
Yeah, because I feel like
when you remove that factor, suddenly they move smoothly.
Yeah, because everyone was there was like a lot of just like Hayao Miyazaki did not want to help his son really with this project. With his project, that was almost kind of like forced on him.
Yeah, I mean, he's busy on his own production.
Yeah.
How could he help him? I mean, also, he actually tried to sabotage it. So I think it's actually more important to say that Miyazaki was actively trying to stop his son from making this film. He was trying to make a revolt. He actively was running around the studio trying to say, it's a terrible idea he's making this film, isn't it? He has no experience in animation. Why is he making this film? It's a terrible idea. Why is he doing this? Everyone, please come to me. We need to stop this. We need to stop this now.
Which...
I mean, he's not wrong.
It's not necessarily wrong. Kind of an asshole. He's also kind of an asshole.
Absolutely an asshole. Yeah, they stopped talking for like 3 years after this one.
I mean, there's that famous video of him like walking out of the screening.
Yeah, which again, this is I kind of don't. I really get annoyed with this one because it's Nippon TV dramatizing, which is obviously Miyazaki. Miyazaki does it all the time, right? He just bullshits all the time. Just because he says something like that in that moment doesn't even mean he feels that.
Right. Yeah.
He usually changes his mind every 2 seconds about everything. Mm-hmm. He's a flip flopper, like naturally. So what you get there is him being like, I need to smoke.
Yeah.
God, this film's long. And he's not wrong. The pacing is very uneven on the film. Though I think there's a lot of merit to it artistically. I don't think it was a particularly great film. And also it has a problem as an adaptation because it's like 4 or 3 of these books.
It's not an adaptation, really. It's not a direct adaptation of any individual story from Earthsea.
Lots of little scenes have been readapted from different books.
And then also has elements from a manga Miyazaki wrote back in the early 80s as well.
Yes, it is Shuna.
Shuna's Journey, yeah. So it has all the stuff going into it.
There's some small pieces of that, yeah.
It's very interesting that the movie literally starts the main character killing his dad.
Yeah, I wonder what that means.
Now, what he really makes you fucking think.
I don't understand symbolism. What could that mean? I'm like one of those reviewers on YouTube who doesn't understand things when they
doesn't understand the most obvious things.
Actually, I love that. That's a tangent, but there's an interview where Miyazaki goes that he has no patience for people who don't have like the imagination for magical realism. Basically, He basically saying like, if you can't like get down with like things being magical and not necessarily making literal sense, you're too weak.
That's a good take. Have you seen the interview between Goro Miyazaki and Mamoru Oshii where he's just like, have you ever wanted to kill your father?
Did Oshii say that? I bet he said that.
Yeah. No, he literally just asks
I'm sure
Goro Miyazaki if he ever like, if Hayao Miyazaki ever like hit him as a kid. And Goro's like, no. And then the person doing the interview is just like, what the fuck are you getting at, Oshii? And, which
Oshii's just trying to shit
Oshii's literally he then just literally responds with, well, I figured that since Miyazaki was a dictator at the studio, he'd also be a dictator at home.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Like, you are a massive fucking asshole.
Now, my funniest story with that is that apparently the one thing Miyazaki did try and do is he tried, when they have that like take your dad to work thing, apparently he tried to do that for Goro a couple times, but he had to phone up his wife to ask him what class he was in because he didn't know what year he was in. All things. So that's the kind of absentee father he was.
Well, also, I mean,
literally doesn't know the class or his year of his son.
Oshii also isn't the best father in that regard.
Oh no!
Oh, do you not know about that?
Oshii had kids. I know he has a wife. I didn't know he had kids.
Yeah. So, Oshii had a daughter that a daughter in the 80s that he did not have basically any contact with up until the early 2000s.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. I mean, it's a sweet story ultimately because when they finally like reconnect.
That's nice, but like,
but it's
he
also
has no place to critique Miyazaki then.
Yeah, it's like my brother in Christ, don't throw stones in glass houses.
Yeah, my dude.
You literally walked out on your family.
And Miyazaki do reignite. They do actually patch it up.
Yeah.
They're on pretty good terms these days.
Goro Miyazaki and Hayao Miyazaki?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, because then they later like work together on like Poppy Hill.
Oh, that was not a good experience though.
No. Well, I don't like this movie.
No. Miyazaki's an asshole. So I like Up on Poppy Hill, but apparently Miyazaki was only a hindrance.
Okay. Not a roadblock. But I don't think Earthsea is a very good movie. I don't hate the movie. I think a lot of its problems are
it's a vignette.
Amateurish, but it's kind of hard to get upset at it, especially given like all like the background information.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel the animators do a great job. I think the backgrounds look great. I think the animation set pieces can look really great. And there are some actually like really nice sort of just on their own like little vignettes that are amazing. But like as a film, it doesn't work.
I do like the way the movie looks and the way like the sets in the city looks. But in terms of like the actual story and the characters, I still don't fully understand why he kills his dad at the start.
I don't even think that's in the novels.
Yeah.
I think that's strictly something.
Well, I remember reading because it was what's the name of the author? Ursula.
It's Earthsea and it's
Le Guin.
Le Guin, yeah.
I remember reading her talking about this. It was a really interesting like blog post of her talking about it. One, she talks about how in the Earthsea novels, she made a very intentional decision to have the characters be predominantly people of color. That was a conscious decision on her part.
Yes,
which is not really reflected in the movie movie itself because anime characters in general are kind of like stateless. So
yeah, though there is generally I think this is actually a corporate decision. Like a lot of these adaptations of stories, and you'll see this a bit later. We'll get into it. That they specifically make them like Nihonjin.
Yeah.
Like they make them actively Japanese, even if the characters were not originally, and we can get into that later.
Right. So there's stuff like that. I also
key examples.
Don't really understand the villain of the movie. Really, I think the main character of the movie is the title character in Japanese, Ged. Because in Japanese the movie is not called Tales from Earthsea. It's called Gedo Senki.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like the main character, really, more so than the actual main character of the movie.
Yeah, I mean that's like probably a marketing decision again.
Yeah,
I kind of realize that maybe after the fact.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an Earthsea apologist. I don't think it's like as
I appreciate
bad
it for sure.
As like,
well, no, I don't think
it's a terrible film.
No, absolutely
I just think
not.
Structurally, it doesn't really work too well.
No.
Yeah, I would say it's a D.
Yeah,
Easy D.
I wouldn't. Again, there's not like an F on here because I don't think any of these movies are really complete like failures creatively.
No.
But this one's like
I really appreciate that the artists were kind of let to do their thing.
Yeah.
I think that Goro, at least in his diary, really puts out that he basically would refer to people who knew more than him most of the time for like direction. So like he let a lot of the animators kind of do their thing because he knew it wasn't his specialist.
Modelo time.
Oh, is it Ponyo next?
It is Ponyo next.
All right, well, I'm the number one Ponyo stan also. So
Are you really?
Fucking go.
Because I had not seen Ponyo as a kid.
Definitely...
I remember seeing commercials for it, or like previews and like DVDs and stuff for this movie.
Yeah, this got pushed really hard.
What?
This got pushed really hard.
Yeah, so I remember seeing a bunch when I was like 10, 11 years old, when the movie was like first coming out. I never saw it up until a few days ago. And
yeah, I mean, I had a similar thing in that, like, I knew of the film's existence, but I didn't see it until years and years after the fact.
I tried watching it at a friend's house like 2 or 3 times, and I fell asleep every single time.
Fell asleep?
Really
there are a few like interesting things about this movie watching it as an adult. One, I was watching this with Gil, and he said that Joe had an interesting observation about it, which is that it is a pre-311 movie.
Yes, that would definitely be a good example.
Definitely makes sense. I think about being pushed so much in the United States as well, and the direct analog of that time would have been Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, tsunamis are not exactly out of place in Japanese history.
Yeah. But I also think it's almost like Sakaike as well, because it's fundamentally about the relationship between two characters. Essentially determining the fate of the world, because otherwise the moon is going to fucking crash into the earth.
Yeah, it's so comfy.
So it's such a wonderful apocalypse.
Well, they kind of just roll with whatever the kids say.
Fish, epic.
Yeah,
they're just having a great time.
It's like, oh, she's like a fish. All right, yeah, why not? Yeah, that's cool.
Well, you want to go on a boat?
Go with it.
With like a candle?
Yeah, fuck
sure,
it.
Yeah, go for it.
I would. I was like, that's fucking sick, bro. I want to look at these fucking fish. Look at these prehistoric fish. Isn't that cool?
I mean, there's some really... I love how this movie looks in general. I love the backgrounds of it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's some insane animated scenes. Like, obviously, Ponyo running on the waves is like...
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
But then just like the way they're animating like characters and things in water is really impressive.
Yeah, and if I remember right, so this is a film where it is obviously digitally animated, but they basically didn't, or they say that they basically used no CGI, or I think they actually object against digital compositing on like heavy layers. I think they tried to keep it to cell level, which is usually about 4 or 5 layers.
Right.
So they removed the idea of complexity, which you can see that I feel they might have gotten, and this is a problem I think I can even see in Spirit Away, but like if you give someone an infinite well, it's easy to get stuck in it.
Right. Well,
especially someone like Miyazaki.
Well, I guess that makes if that's the case, then some of the scenes that are underwater where you have all of these fish moving around are really even more impressive. They're doing that on like even fewer layers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if maybe that's like an exception.
Maybe it might be an exception.
It might be still in it, in that like all those fish are drawn by one person on one layer. Mm-hmm. It's possible. But I think they try to keep it to like a minimal.
Yeah. And the movie itself is fairly small in that regard as well, because it is like fish girl gets legs.
I like the classic Arno quote on the film, which is that mother, she bad.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, not only is she bad, she is a bad driver. Holy fucking shit. Those are some of the most tense scenes in any Ghibli movie I've ever seen.
It looks good though.
Oh, it does.
It doesn't look good. Like, oh my god.
But the mom is really hot. Apart from that though, I watched the movie and then like the next day I woke up and I was like, I don't really remember a lot of what happened.
Yeah,
I was surprisingly more mid on the movie.
Very simple, but I think that's very simple. Like the movie's benefit. Like
that's fair, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's almost a rejection in some ways of like, so Miyazaki had done at that point, he had these 3 giant films, right? And they were all kind of these big epics and stories of somewhat romance, and they have these sort of huge stakes at times. Spirited Away is probably the smaller stakes of the
smaller
them,
stakes,
right?
It's
and
not...
Ponyo is a complete rejection of that. Yeah. It goes, no, I'm going to make a film for children that's like nice and easy. And it is true, it's about the end of the world, kind of, but like ultimately it's about having a good time with your main girl.
Yeah.
Just wants to fuck a fish, and that's okay.
That's okay. We need Ponyo too. God damn it, we need the follow-up movie.
Well, you've heard the theory
like PG.
that Kiki's delivery service, the bread, the husband and wife that make the bread are just the grown-up versions of the kids from Ponyo.
I mean, that would be really... I don't usually like theories. I mean, it's nice to believe, I guess, because it'd be cute if that was the case. I mean, at least it'd be like
all right.
harmless.
Yeah, that's a nice little fan theory.
Yeah, that's like I'm glad they're living together happily and like live a very normal life now.
Yeah, it's secretly fucking dark.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, also, Ponyo's mother kind of bad, but maybe too big.
Well, if you were into unbirthing, she'd be the perfect size.
Not for me.
When I saw how big Ponyo's mom was, I was like, holy moly.
There's one movie I remember with I think it's Yasuda, the colorist, saying that they actually tried to get the colors of this film closer to like Miyazaki's storyboards, which I think you can kind of tell. Like it's still,
I can kind of see that
as is, but yeah, like the colors are a bit more pastel.
Yeah,
the backgrounds look very like color pencil.
Oh, very. Yes. Yeah, they've obviously been drawn in very articulately.
This is probably like my top 3 as far as just visuals.
Oh yeah, it's a great looking film and very
comfy. I would be inclined to agree.
Yeah, I think it's
well. With that in mind, where do we place it?
I'd say A.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. I mean, I'd even go for S, but maybe that's not the popular perspective.
I would be fine with low A.
Yeah, go for it. Why not? That's a nice position. That's again another respectful one. I kind of want to put it over Spirited Away just to make people more angry, but
well, I don't know if people will be angry about because people still love Ponyo.
Do they? I've always kind of got the impression that was the one that people were kind of salty about when it first came out. Maybe that's why I was hearing the internet at that time.
I got that impression too.
Maybe because they were. I think it's probably more of an American perspective because they were expecting all of Ghibli and Miyazaki's films.
It's been over 10 years now, though, and
I think Neighbors
you have people who grew up on the movie. They're nostalgic for it.
So yeah, there's probably a bit more of a nuance to it. I mean, yeah, I think it's a great film. I'm gonna watch it right now.
Put it on low.
I'm like, shit, I want to sit down and watch Ponyo right now, even though it's the middle of the night.
Next, we have The Secret World of Arrietty.
Now, this one's interesting to me. Oh yeah. This film actually did the best in the States. This is the Ghibli film that made the most money in the States.
Really?
That's and it's probably because it had the most cinema. They actually gave it the most number. I think they gave 1,000.
Oh, really? Just kept it in theaters for like more theaters and probably for longer?
Gave it. All right. So here's the thing with Disney. And I think this is sometimes I remember, especially when I was making these videos earlier on, people talking about how, Ghibli was, kind of like pushed up by Disney. And like, I look at the actual specs and I'm like, that's bullshit. Like Disney was terrible for Ghibli a lot of the time. They probably did all right on home releases, but everything else they did not do good with.
Yeah.
They were bad at the dubbing. They were bad at promoting. They changed the name of this film. It's called Arrietty the Borrowers in Japan because it's from the English novel The Borrowers. It's a very close adaptation outside of what I was mentioning before. The boy in the original novel is Indian and is from the colonies and is in England and Arrietty teaches him English. And in this, it's just a Japanese kid.
Okay, a Japanese kid who's dying of like a heart defect.
Yeah, it's details. He's
details, whatever. But I really like this movie. This is like you say it's like one of the ones that did the best, but I feel like this is fairly like under talked
in the
about.
US at least.
Yeah. But I feel like this movie is like one of the more under the radar ones.
Yeah, I mean it did fine. I don't think Miyazaki was super involved just because the script they have for it, which is what he's supposed to have done.
This is
it's pretty beat for beat of the novel, more or less. Outside there's a few changes.
Let me see who's the director on this, because this is the director of
Yonebayashi.
Yeah. Who would then go on to do like Studio Ponok. And so what I was thinking about this movie is like, have you seen Modest Heroes?
I have not seen that one yet.
The opening the first segment of Modest Heroes, which Yonebayashi directed, feels I think it's in the same universe as this essentially.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, maybe not explicitly, but it's like same sort of concept of little people.
There are more novels, and they will probably never get adapted because they get very maybe they'd have to just fundamentally change some of the stuff in there because it's not what would be appropriate these days.
Oh no! No, dear.
Yeah, they get a little bit. Yeah.
But I really like this. I think this is just a really solid, well-made love story.
Yeah, and it's like I said, the beats of it are pretty damn close to the novel because I was honestly very curious because the ending I thought was like really sharp, and I was like, damn, they're really going for that? Like they're going for they're going forever. And then I read up, it's like, yeah, actually, that's just how the novel goes. Because it follows onto a series of them getting into worse and worse events, it seems.
Oh. Oh, I was hoping that it was going to... Because it ends on such a happy, hopeful note. I was hoping they just find a new home and they settle down there.
They find a boot, which then, goes places.
Huh.
There's like four of these novels,
It's a very small story, which I also appreciate.
Very simple.
Very simple,
I really
very
like...
small.
This is something I remember, I think, writing down. Is I really love the sound design. The sound design was so excellent in the film when it came to like the small scenes and how they depict the world. Is really effective because they really set down like this is the scale, this is how water would react in there, this is what it would sound like. It's really good at that. Yeah, such
specifically like the way characters like the smaller characters cry in the movie, and like their tears kind of just like well up as like large droplets outside of their eyes. Small details like that,
and just like them getting around, just how big it feels. You can feel the air, like that just sort of like dead air in the. Just because of how
there's when she's first talking with the main character with the main guy, and it's you really just get like a sense of just completely massive scale with like how
scale is so good
every small movement of his body is just colossal to her,
and how they move as well, how the big figures move, like that sort of weight they give them.
Fuck you, Attack on Titan. This is the real shit.
I mean, from what I understand, this is Suzuki's opinion, so it's the pinch of salt, but I think it was him who recommended him to direct this film, because Yonebayashi started at Ghibli as an in-betweener. He became a key animator on Spirited Away, and he went on to be the trainer for a lot of the animators. So he became what was considered one of Miyazaki's best animators. So that's why he was putting on there. But Suzuki himself likes to editorialize that. Yonebayashi, he doesn't direct like Miyazaki. He's like a curator. That's what he called it. In that he likes to sort of let the animators do their thing, and like sort of he likes to encourage them to be. There's a lot of great animation cuts in his films, so you can kind of feel that.
Yeah. So I really like it. Mumi, what do you think?
That was alright. Like I'm not in love with it or anything.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I can understand like why it's not as talked about. Just because it's been one of those movies that's kind of floated around like on peripheral since it's come out. Like I had friends that had it on Blu-ray and stuff, and no one really ever talked about it, but they've seen it.
Yeah, my sister actually brought this movie up in conversation to me once because she had seen it and I hadn't at the time. So
Borrow is actually quite popular a book. It's probably the most popular book adaptation they've done, which is probably what got more, because Burroughs had that American movie in the 90s. It's probably the best adaptation of the Burroughs I can see, because a lot of them are pretty shit as adaptations. I may have seen that one when I was younger. I don't remember much of it, but I think it's not very well liked, if I remember right. I feel like I have seen it.
I mean, I know of the title of a book called The Borrowers, so
yeah,
there's that at least.
Yeah, it's a pretty famous English book for sure.
Yeah,
and the premise of like small people is usually. Well, besides the Gulliver's Travels, right? But if it's about like in a house, then it's usually going to be this.
Oh yeah.
I actually thought the villain, and I think it's strictly from the book, but I was just like, this is a mean ass villain. I was like, holy shit, this is like more malicious than Miyazaki usually goes as the screenwriter.
Yeah.
She's in terms of what? Oh god, just ugly in like a really fun way.
Yeah, usually Miyazaki, with the exception of I guess like maybe Castle in the Sky or
he's
Conan. He usually tries to humanize his villains in some way.
Yeah, I mean, even with those, it's kind of like that's a really big story. Like they're really big. Yeah, it's like really classical.
Here, this is just like this is just like a kind of like a spiteful old one, which I guess the woman is also like a housekeeper, but still.
But she's just like fucking nasty. She's and it's just like she just sees like these little people that just pester her, and she's just like, she takes glee in it. Like fucking put them in a jar and kill them. Yeah, ooh.
Yeah, she doesn't really recognize them as being any of it worth any consideration, which is really fucked up, but also completely believable.
Yeah, because she's a housekeeper, right? They're basically just rats. They've been stealing little things from her for years, and she probably has a really like petty grudge.
Petty is a good way to describe the villain of this movie.
Yeah, but it's just like it's so like just. I mean, they kind of soften it a little bit when they don't go for the fumigation, but it is still just like when she's first going for it, like I'm gonna kill these little fuckers.
Yeah. I think B tier is a fine placement for this movie.
I thought it was a really good first go. That's what I thought. I thought it was solid. I'm happy.
I might put it below Ocean Waves.
Okay.
I can do. I would be fine with that. I think it's nice. Like I said, I like those technical details. So that's what really left the most impression on me.
Next we got Up on Poppy Hill, Goro Miyazaki's follow-up work. I really like this. I love the soundtrack for this movie.
Really good, yeah. And they got Sayuki. Sayuki's the main theme.
Yeah.
I like this movie.
Yeah,
this is good. Yeah, this is like a good coming of age.
My favorite Goro
piece.
project.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I don't know how much competition there is with that, but
maybe Ronya's pretty good. I haven't seen it.
Ronya's pretty nice. I like Ronya because I think it's pretty alright. I just think it's too long. I think if it was like 12 episodes, it'd be excellent. But the CG
I really like
lacking. Like if it was a 2D, it would be much better. But what can I say? Polygon sucks.
Gil was telling me about his take is that had this movie stuck with the incest element, it would have been a lot better.
Be more respectful.
Be more respectable. Yeah, not taking. I guess there's something about the Miyazaki's just taking the coward's way out.
Yeah, it is an adaptation, to be fair. So I will put that one.
Okay.
I think that is how the original goes, if I remember right.
Okay. I think it works either.
Well.
It works either way, honestly. And I think them not diverge.
Speaking of incest, we'll get back to that in a bit, won't we?
But I think had they stuck with like the incest element, that probably would not be as palatable to most audiences.
No, it would be interesting end, but it would probably be more.
It would be very interesting. But I think that's a very sweet movie.
Yeah,
I wish there were more anime set in the 60s as well.
Yeah, it's 64, isn't it? Because it's new Olympics.
It's like right before the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, it is a nice setting. I liked the school. How it's just kind of this big hole everyone just kind of converges in.
Oh yeah. The Latin
house.
Academy thing.
Yeah,
club building. And I love how it's almost like a shanty town in there.
Yeah, it has a nice atmosphere to it.
Mm-hmm. It does a good job of and a significant improvement from Earthsea. It does a good job of managing all these disparate elements. Without it feeling too clunky or like hodgepodge together.
Yeah, I feel there's one thing I'll give Hayao Miyazaki on it, in that he probably gave the structure of like, here's the script, here's the rough script, right? And then from there, Goro decided not to listen to him ever again because he's a pain in the ass. So he'd just kick him out of the room because he can't help himself, right? So as soon as Miyazaki's in the room, he's like, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're doing this wrong. So it's like, fuck off, leave me, please.
Backseat directing, basically.
Yeah, literally, that's what he's doing. So he has to he just completely ignore him until he left.
Yeah.
It's like, please fuck off. So it is effectively his project. He'd also done some training beforehand. I think he'd done some smaller things for like ads and stuff, and he'd kind of been taught a bit more how to be a director.
Cut his teeth a bit more. That makes sense.
Yeah, he had a bit more experience.
I think it was a solid B movie.
Yeah, solid B. I think. I mean, it's definitely my favorite of Goro's. I put it up pretty high.
Yeah, definitely. Where in B though? We got some options.
We could go mid B. I don't know, anywhere in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any like strong feelings on that one.
Let's say put it above Ocean Waves, below Pom Poko.
Yeah, that's a fine placement.
All right. Next, we got The Wind Rises.
Yeah, I don't know where people's perspective on that one is, because I'm not really that hot on it. But I mean, technically, it's pretty interesting. But I feel like it's like one of those coward Miyazaki films.
The way the movie, because the movie is very surprisingly uncritical, honestly.
Yeah, and it's kind of probably because the vague thing it's based on is not actually about this person, but it's such a strange combo of things, because I think it is actually based on a book, but that book is not actually about Mr. Seroplane.
Jiro Horikoshi.
Yeah, so it's not actually, because Jiro did not have a wife, so like that complete like the romance tuberculosis stuff, that's irrelated to his actual real life.
That's something else. Okay.
Yes,
you know what kind of reminded me of? You can go ahead.
I was going to say that the key factor that this movie conveniently ignores is that he is incredibly aware of what the war is doing, and he leaves the war he has too much guilt. He leaves the war before it even like goes to like the US, like before Pearl Harbor. He leaves the Japanese war state by like 1941-ish, I think, 1940, somewhere around that time. So before like even Pearl Harbor, he made the ships, he made the planes, he does the technical thing, and then he leaves because the war is going in a direction he doesn't agree with.
Well, something interesting to keep in mind, just like in the back of my head, is like, oh, this is happening about the same time as Grave of the Fireflies?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I think Grave happens a little bit, because they kind of skip over
a little bit later.
Again,
well, but
the movie, way, right?
The movie starts and ends with Tokyo on fire, basically.
Yeah, for different reasons, because the first time it was on fire, I think, is in the 20s. That's the great Tokyo
That's the Great
earthquake,
Kanto earthquake,
which happened in the middle of the
1923.
day when everyone's fires were on because they were having lunch. I think that's why.
Yeah, and then the Tokyo fire bombings during the war.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's because he doesn't really. The movie attempts to address it to an extent and sort of play up this dichotomy of like airplanes are this wonderful dream, but they're just kind of perverted by as like.
Yeah, there's
they're
a really interesting
war
quote,
machines.
but I kind of like I can vibe with what Miyazaki's saying here because he says that like planes like dogs, right? That like dogs aren't inherently evil or unevil, but it's like how they are used. Like they don't have any position. Like the plane itself is a neutral entity until it is used.
That's again like an overriding like thesis in Miyazaki's work when it comes to technology.
Yeah, and you could probably argue that well, obviously these planes were never going to be pretty like nice fucking flight planes, are they though? Because these are war planes. They're
yeah.
But yeah, ultimately it's
you're still so removed from the war itself.
This is a very interesting movie to watch if you've ever been to like the Share and Peace Museum.
Oh,
where it's all just like the culmination of all like the letters that the zero plane pilot, the kamikaze pilots had to like write their families.
I bet that was an interesting one.
Yeah, I actually went there after. No, it was right before we went to the Imperial War Museum. So that was an interesting
juxtaposition of narratives.
Yeah, you go there and you have to read like all basically the propaganda that they were forced to write and like hear the stories about how they had to be like put in the separate bunkers because they would keep all the other soldiers up at night. And then you go to the Imperial War Museum.
A lot of interesting stories about serial pilots. Yeah, that like a lot of them were not like they weren't drinking the fucking Kool-Aid.
No.
A lot of them were just kind of stuck.
You're like 17, 18, 19 years old and you're told like, hey, you're going to go fly a plane into a ship and die tomorrow.
Yeah, because it's tomorrow, but if you decide not to, you're a deserter, right? So you're going to be court-martialed anyway. So
yeah.
It would have been better if they told you tomorrow. Like, I think they told them like, was it weeks in advance? And so you just had to live with the knowledge that you were going to be doing this thing for weeks.
Yeah, probably because they have to set it up, right? Because they have to set up their the war side of it. I'm sure when they're going, how it's going, the mission.
Fucked up. Yeah, and you go to the Imperial War Museum, and it's kind of closer to this movie, except it's worse, obviously.
Well, this movie has many things to appreciate about it beyond that. Still,
yeah, I mean, there's definitely. I mean, the earthquake scene's really great. And there's definitely some great cuts of animation. And I actually saw this in the cinema first time I saw this. This is like the first time I saw a Ghibli film in the cinema. This was like when the UK premiere was happening like on public. And I remember thinking, I don't know if I remember, I remember thinking the whole time, this is like completely unhelpful. It's like, are those digitally painted backgrounds or not? And I think in the end I was like, oh, actually they're not. But like, I think I was like convinced during the thing. I was like, did they digitally paint this background? They look a little strange. But I also remember thinking, fucking Werner Herzog. Werner Herzog did a great, because it was dub only. I didn't have a choice on that one. But Werner Herzog does a great job. But I think everyone else is terribly miscast. Especially Jordan Gordon. Oh my God, bad. Arno.
It's funny because when I watched the movie subbed, I'm just thinking to myself, man, Hideaki Anno's not a great voice actor.
No, but he fits the character, and like you'll see if you get like a real actor playing it. Like when I saw it first with fucking Jordan Gordon-Levitt, or his name was, playing the character. Like, you're so massively miscast in this role because they got like, he's hero role. Like, this guy is very emotionally reserved, a savant. Like he's not. Yeah, at least in this film, that's how they had to play it.
I will say, for me, I expected the movie to have a lot more pathos to it. Like I was expecting something along the lines of like a Spring in Chaos.
Yeah, it does not have that.
It does not. It's not really on that levels. But I mean, I still really like the movie. I think for this, it's probably like low B for me.
Okay, I mean, I think that's respectable. I mean, my picks, I just didn't. Well, I think ultimately I did not engage too well on the film, just on a like story level. There are like a lot more technical stuff, and I can see why, because some of that's going to be on the side of like, well, especially in Japan, like if you want a war film to do well. So when we talk about money, right? The more you say, the less likely your film is going to get played in theaters on a mass level.
Right.
If it gets played at all. So like they're kind of walking a very fine line between Miyazaki's brand and what they can and can't say. Because Miyazaki is obviously very like, he in interviews, he's obviously, usually plays a very stern role of being incredibly anti-war and incredibly against the atrocities of World War II. It's not like he's a man that would like it actually walks the line at all. He's always very clear about where he stands. But he's also a man who wants to make $120 million, not $10 million.
Right. Mumi, where do you stand?
I like it a bit better than like some of the other newer Ghibli stuff, but I think it's a fair placement for it.
Okay.
I think
one
thematically,
thing
I resonated with it a little bit more than some of the newer stuff, but it is kind of a hard hurdle to.
Yeah, I think one of the things that bothers me maybe the more about this is this really weird idea they have about passion and like you only have this many years before you're like out. And I was like, where the fuck is that coming from? Is this like
where's that coming from? Miyazaki,
you've
you've been at this for decades.
Yeah, why are you even making films then if you believe you're already passionate? I'm like, fucking hell, what the fuck are you talking about?
What did he mean by this?
Like, where is that coming from?
Is I say move Laputa down to B and Nausicaa up to A.
Yeah, okay, I'm 100% for that for obvious reasons.
I think that probably fits just the general, and maybe I'd say maybe Blasphemy, The Wind Rises, High C.
Yeah, fuck it, why not? I'm not going to disagree.
Just like gauging the general.
Yeah, we want to even out the tiers a bit, right?
Yeah, and also just a general like conversation where things are generally settling for our hive mind consensus.
Yes, our hive mind.
Absolutely not. In the home stretch, we got the Tale of Princess Kaguya.
Now that's an interesting one because it's not a film that really resonates with me, but I think on a technical, artistic level, it's obviously like probably the biggest achievement the studio's ever made.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably one of my favorite like aesthetics, like an anime in general.
It's incredibly impressive. And it makes
for me,
me
like
think
the movie,
about
like there's like some peaks, emotional peaks through the movie, and then it peaks hard right at the end.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck? You're fucking
hit enlightenment, right? I'm gonna go.
It's such a dick move to have such a sad scene with such like pleasant music.
Yeah, it's this thing really frustrates me. There's apparently there's like a 9-hour documentary that only was released in Japan for this film, and I don't think it'll ever get removed like here.
Maybe someday.
Well, just because I know that this production specifically was like when we get past Princess Mononoke, this is probably the worst production. In that, like, this is
really
fucking,
well,
like,
this is the most expensive Japanese movie ever made.
It's definitely, I think it was very expensive. I don't know if they actually have real numbers though on that stuff. But
well,
it's just because it's an 8-year
they
production.
got $50 million to make this movie. I don't think Allegedly. They spent $50 million on it, but they got $50 million to make this movie.
Yeah, and it took a very long time, and a lot of that sounds like because working for Takahata always sounds like it's quite an arduous process, but this one specifically just sounds like complete mess. Just because there's so many things that weren't like ready. Like they color picked apparently each scene. They didn't have like a proper color palette, so they just fucking wing it and just stuff. It was
scene by scene. Interesting.
Yeah, the boards weren't, even though this film was in production for like 8 years, the boards were just not done until like right at the end, like properly. Because you can have two boards. You can have Takahata's boards, and then you can have Momose's version of the boards. Because Takahata does like a chicken scratch version, and then someone else will redraw it properly.
Right? Yeah. Because Takahata is not a proper animator.
Yeah, he does technical storyboards, which are fine, but at some point they do move to an actual board that can be used for a layout.
Yeah. Something can actually be read. Yeah. But it says, The Tale of Princess Kaguya was financed by Nippon TV, whose late chairman, Seijiro Ujie?
Yeah.
Gave 5 billion yen, approximately $40 million towards the project.
That was probably enough for the majority of it, yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a really big one. It never was going to make its money back. Maybe
absolutely not.
Maybe it hasn't like physical releases because there's some other factors. You know, you're going to sell the TV rights, you're going to sell the physical releases,
of course,
but never in the cinemas. No.
I like this movie. It's not up there on like my favorites, but I really
I do think it's solid. I think it's I remember my last time I saw it, my perspective was like, yeah, there's a lot I like about it. It's too long.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably too long.
I love this movie.
Yeah, this is your favorite.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even besmirch anyone who did, because like there's so many good animators on this who probably had a terrible time getting their work through, because Takahata doesn't communicate either. There's like this thing that like Takahata doesn't even like because he's like a lyricist. Like he can't talk to animators very well a lot of the time, and sometimes if he doesn't like your cuts, he'll just put them back on your desk and doesn't tell you what's wrong with them.
Oh, really? He doesn't even bother?
Yeah, this is something that Tanaka once said for years. This is from a much earlier production, but apparently that's what he did to her a lot when she worked with him. She just put the cuts back on the desk silently and not tell her what was wrong with them. And she'd have to redraw it and figure it out invisibly. There's a lot of stories like that in this. Apparently this film was probably saved by a couple of the really high up animators. That's what it sounds like, but it's hard to tell how much of it's fiction and non-risk, because it depends who's giving that perspective, right? Because Suzuki seems to have like a real chip on her shoulder about Takahata because he's fucking nightmare to deal with, so it's hard for me to tell how much of it's like being an honest portrayal of fucking nightmare, or if it's him pushing it a bit further.
Then where do we want to put it? I guess Mumi, you're going to advocate for S, aren't you?
I mean, I would put it in S, but I will advocate for A.
I mean, I think you could put low A, just because I think it's very impressive.
I think low A is fine. I would say, let me think here. So, what if I did this?
Okay, yeah, I think that's respectable. I'll accept it.
Mumi?
Be right back. I'm killing myself. I'm just kidding. No, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Next we have another lesser talked about Ghibli movie, When Marnie Was There.
Yeah, this is another one that I literally had to check the adaptation afterwards when I saw it.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, all right, what was that? Like, I was trying to figure out, because there's that twist, and I was like, was that in the novel? Because it's another British novel, right? So there's another situation where they have once again turned a very British novel into a Japanese story, and they've switched the setting from 50s Britain to modern day Japan.
Right, which kind of makes the Marnie character feel very anachronistic.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they're going for, I guess, in some bits. But yeah, because this is another one of those films that people are like, is this film gay? Because this one, it's so bluntly obviously that it's gay.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
They make it even more blunt in the book.
Oh no, Steve, they're just good friends.
Yes, very good friends. You get jealous about
very
each
good
other
friends
dancing with men and get all blushy about it and have their heart race and tell
so
you.
I guess this movie dares. Yep. I guess this movie dares to go where Poppy Hill wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, even in its current state, I think it's hard not to read it as incest fiction, even if it has a different resolution in the end.
Right.
They did it. That's all
I like it. I think it's a good movie.
I liked it. I think it's my favorite Yonebayashi film I saw. I really thought, when I saw it, I was kind of like, this is definitely something where I was like, I can see the direction of the studio in the future. And then they leave, right? I was just like, this is new. This is new animators doing new things. Even though it's an old story, I feel there's a direction here that they could take and a feeling that they could move with. And then they all left the studio.
Then they all left. What about you, Mumi?
I like the movie. I feel like a lot of newer Ghibli films kind of get unjustly shit on a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, everything, yeah.
Yeah, this is one of them. I feel like doesn't really get the recognition it might have gotten if it weren't just tied to Ghibli and their catalog.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and it made money, but it did not make... It made half the money that the borrowers did, basically.
Okay.
Which probably comes from the setup. From what I understand, this film also had a young producer on it, who then went to Ponyo, right? So it was one of the younger producers at the studio, younger director. Suzuki had nothing to do with it, which is where he started bad-mouthing it, and then they left the studio. And I don't know which order it was. If it was they left the studio after the bad-mouthing, but it seems like he had a real bone to pick, because he was like, you targeted the wrong group, and you also didn't ask me for advice. So he was like, no. That's why it didn't work. That's why I didn't make as much money as it have. Seems like it still made a profit though. It still obviously made money. But
I like this movie. I don't think I like it as much as Arrietty. It's probably a bit too long, I'd say.
I like it around that same amount, in that kind of.
I definitely like it more personally. I can't remember how long it was though. Was it over 2 hours? Was it under 2 hours?
It's an hour. It's an hour and 40 minutes, but I feel like you probably could have cut it down to maybe hour and a half.
Maybe. It's from what I can see, it's a pretty one-for-one adaptation outside of they play it far more gay. Well, it's a difference of context, right? Because 50s British lingo and how if you said that in Japan in modern day, have a very different context. Like young girls in the 50s saying they love each other has a very different context than it would modern day Japanese women saying that, or Japanese girls saying that when they're saying it really overtly.
Yeah. I mean, they literally say, I love you more than anyone else.
Yes, and that in that context, I think the book says something similar, but at that point, when you say that in Japanese, that means a very different thing. Like that's a very overt statement, which it would not have been in the 50s in England, I think.
Yeah, I'd put this like above Arrietty, below Poppy Hill and Ocean Waves.
Yeah, I think I really liked it. My time with it, maybe because I'm the artist boy, so like I could relate to drawing around the fucking characters. But yeah, I thought it was fun. All
right.
I thought the ending, I thought the twist, that's why I had to look it up so bad, because I was like, that twist, I was like, that's such a silly twist. I was like, gee, that's
the rub for the movie for me, where it's just like, had the movie not had that twist,
yeah, they were
completely
just
on board.
Gay ghosts,
but it's because I was thinking to myself, oh, that'd be so corny if they did that. And
yeah, because I saw it coming. I was like, are they going to do that? And I was like, oh, they wouldn't do that. And I was I was
thinking to myself, like, oh, no, they're not going to.
It's a book from the 50s. Okay, fair enough. It's a British book from the 50s. Of course, they're going to do that twist. It would be about gays.
I guess closing arguments then, that feeling when no depressed tomboy GF.
Damn.
Fucking kill myself.
You'll never have a ghost lolly GF on an island.
All right, now let's talk about the quote-unquote Ghibli movie. Why is it on this list? The Red Turtle.
I saw it, and there is no trace of Ghibli here at all. It's a Franco-German, French sort of animation production.
It is
that has, because the director is good friends with the people at Studio Ghibli, they helped fund it and gave it a bit more recognition to get made.
That's literally it.
Yes. Also, there's a connection between a Studio Canal or Wild Bunch, which is the studio that produced this film, and them being one of the main distributors of Ghibli films in Europe, especially France, which is where that connection comes from. In terms of like, that's where the funding comes from. Like, that's the connecting point between Ghibli and the production company that made this film, because they had that relationship going back 20 years.
It's so strange. Why is this considered a Ghibli movie, but something like Innocence isn't?
Innocence is just as much, quite frankly. In fact,
exactly.
Innocence has the digital department of Ghibli behind it. It has 7 or so key animators some of them are technically freelance, some of them have worked in and out, but they have extensively worked on Ghibli things. There's about another 7 or so in-betweeners, and then you have it literally being funded by Ghibli and Suzuki being the main producer, or like and Takuma Shoten also being involved in the project. Yeah. So like, it's pretty fair to say that they are it's a co-production, right? So
yeah,
but like, it has more than Red Turtle does.
I'm just imagining like Innocence starts and you see the blue Ghibli logo.
Is it actually there though?
And then the movie starts with that opening like POV scene
sometimes for like co-production-y things. You see it in Grave. Grave has a red Ghibli logo.
Does it? Okay.
Blue. Yeah.
I think this one might have had blue. I think this one just says...
I thought that was because red meant dead.
They use it in some other stuff, which is kind of like co-production, or like things that are like on the outskirts. Like I think it's red logo on the short Nausicaa Arno thing, and they might have used that maybe in one of those other films, like Ritual or something.
But I think it's one of those things where it's like people probably tend to think of like Ghibli being fairly like separate or distinct from the rest of the anime industry when
which is bullshit.
It's just completely it's
completely Suzuki formation. Like he basically just constructed the narrative for that to be the case.
When you actually start looking at like staff listings and stuff, it becomes immediately apparent how incestuous Ghibli is with everything else in the industry.
I mean, I talked to one of the assistant animators recently, like who used to work there from France, and he told me as much. Like I was asking about like them in betweening on all these other movies they worked on, because they did what's it called now? Because it's Panzer Cop, but whatever the Jinsei Wolf Brigade or whatever.
Jinro
and Spriggan.
Oh, Spriggan.
Yeah, Spriggan and Wolf Brigade were both in between on by Ghibli, and obviously Ghibli has in between on all like 2 of the Rebuild films. They did
so many
movies,
so many things made by Gainax
End of Ava.
Kara. They help out.
Yeah, they're all
like any other studio
They've done tons
does.
of in-betweens on all these other projects. Yeah. And when I asked David about that, he said that's just what we do. That's what you do in the anime industry. Everyone just passes them around because the system is all the same.
Yeah. I mean, people probably have like an idea of like studios being very like competitive companies, but they're fairly cooperative, all things considered. Yeah. Otherwise, nothing would get made.
Spirited Away had 20 animation studios on the back of it. 20 Japanese animation studios just doing maybe cleanup and in-betweens maybe. We don't really even know.
I remember when I watched Shinkai's latest movie and I got to the end of credits and then just seeing, holy fuck, that's a lot of studios in the credits.
Absolutely.
But what do we think about the Red Turtle itself, I guess?
Honestly, I liked like the first maybe third of it, and then the rest of it I was like, no, I'm not into this. Good craft, beautiful looking film. I was not feeling it after that point. When it became like a bad story, I was like instantly disinterested.
I was like, okay, wow, we're going
the dad route. I was like, he's gonna fuck.
We're going like creation myth. All right, yeah.
Like they went the incest, not incest this time. It was bestiality, right?
Yeah, he fucks the turtle.
Yeah, literally. It becomes a lady, and then they have a child, and then the film loses its like forward momentum because like the beginning of the movie I quite like. It's kind of
it's like artsy Castaway.
Yeah, it's Castaway. Yeah, it's like guy on island. What does he do? How does he survive?
Yeah, I would say that I still really like it. I like how fucking weird it is, but as a Ghibli movie, it's not.
Yeah, you could put it wherever
I'm tempted here to just put it in a separate tier that just says not a Ghibli movie.
Yeah, can we add a tier underneath that's just not Ghibli and just throw it in there?
Yeah, show it. Fuck it. Yeah, go for it. Because I don't know if I've got too much to say, but yeah. It's full animated too. Like it's like a proper full animated European film. Like there's no trace of like a Ghibli sort of aesthetic or thing like that. This is completely dramatically different. And it's also basically a silent film.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's like some like brief dialogue, but it's
just like really small bits of hey or oi. Yeah, and that's it. It's just like explanation, right? It's like a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah, it's just like Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, it's just like it. Like there's a Tom and Jerry episode where it's Castaway. And he probably has sex with another animal.
And now we're at Earwig and the Witch.
Another technicality, because it's a TV movie. It did have a brief stint in cinemas in Japan, which has a version that apparently is slightly extended. Like there's more to it.
Was that a COVID thing? Was that a COVID compromise for playing on TV?
No, it was always meant to be a TV film.
Was it? Okay.
It was a limited. Here's where it gets a bit nutty, right? The movie version that showed in theaters is not the version on the Blu-ray. So this well, as far as I know, so like the version that I've heard is on home release is the TV version, but then the film version that's in cinemas has slight updates and some extended scenes, and they add in things like the slap, because in the original film the slap is cut because it's on TV, and then in the film cinema Japan only version, you actually see the slap.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a weird oddity. I don't know what's going to happen to that version of the film.
Well, the version we just watched it earlier today. She does like hit Earwig like on the head.
Did you see it?
Well, it's kinda. It's not like
they cut away in the version that I originally saw, which is a TV.
I think they might cut away.
Yeah, so from what I understand, the theatrical version, they do not.
Okay. That's very strange.
I swear I remember her hitting her upside the head.
Yeah, maybe let me pull it up.
If you see it would be extended version. Maybe you saw I watched it when it first came out, so maybe the extended version is available now. But when and as far as I was told, the physical releases, at least that coming my way, were like the original TV version, not the extended theatrical version.
I think this movie's all right.
Yeah, it's fine. I've also read the thing it's based on, so this is really important.
Same author as Howl's Moving Castle.
Yes, it's the last book, but it's a very young, small book. It's like barely 100 pages. It's a very simple story.
It's a very simple story. It's
very simple story. The novel. Yeah. This is a pretty solid adaptation of that story. Anyone expecting more is a fool, because this is not supposed to be a massive undertaking. In fact, the one problem the movie maybe has on some of this, we could argue about if the CG's as good as it should be. It's a little bit stiff.
I don't think Kondo's designs really lend themselves to CG that much.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to kind of look that way. Like it has a bit of a plasticine look.
It kind of looks like
Some
claymation, but it also kind of looks cheap.
This probably wasn't cheap, but
probably wasn't.
No, the cost of CG is always very high, especially for theatrical things. But I think they still need a bit of nuance there. I think they're still working on it a bit more. A lot of it's fresh talent. It'd probably take a little while for them to really like get to grips on it in the same level as like someone like Marza Productions or like Marza Planet, right? Marza Planet's been doing this for Sega for like decades, and now they make pretty solid anime movies, like, you know, Lupin the First, but they've been working in the Sega department for CG for literally decades.
There is a very stark contrast in terms of CG in anime and CG in video games.
And that is because of the cost, because in video games there's more money, so every CG animator who is worth their salt will work in the game industry because you get paid far better.
Oh, absolutely. I'm completely understandable, yeah.
Yes.
I
think it's fine.
I don't think this movie's bad. It's just like not a lot happens in it. Yeah. It's just like, wow, okay, that was a movie.
Yeah, it's a TV movie. It's pretty simple.
Going into it with like everyone, like, because like I remember when the trailers dropped, everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is the worst thing ever created."
And it's
I feel shut up. It was manufactured outrage. I really do, because I remember making a video at the time it came out and being like, "What the fuck are you all talking about? This is basic. It's just like a really
was this all part of Suzuki's plan?"
Yeah, it's like I'm not in love with the CGI, but then you like watch the movie and it's just like
terrible.
fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. Like,
I think my main thing is like the lighting in it. Really,
the lighting could do with some work. Probably they might have actually even updated in that theatrical version.
That's what I've heard.
It is a weird movie though. Like it doesn't really
because structurally it shouldn't be a movie. Like it's so close to the original novel, but there's one thing they've added, which is the mother witch plot, which is not in the original novel. So that bit of it kind of makes it feel like there's something else going on, which is just not in the original story at all.
But there's not, because that's like, literally just bookends the movie. Basically, it's like there's a start. That's how it ends.
They kind of go like, oh, there's some kind of wild story going with the mother. Maybe that's going to go somewhere else, and it just stops. Right? It's like, she's here. Maybe it's like, oh, well, and then in the original book, it's just like, nah, she just fucking like became. She just, she has some awful adopted parents, and she fucking learned how to like take them over and then make them her, make them a bitch or whatever.
Make them into a functional family.
Yes, a subservient family, because now they do what she says.
Definitely is an interesting story. Like, you don't really see that kind of thing in media very much.
What I don't know how really embodies is the ethos of gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. You know what I mean?
It's very much that movie. And to be fair, it's not like they didn't deserve it, because like, especially, I mean, in the movie too, but in the novel, like, it's just kind of like nasty.
Yeah.
I don't know how great of a message that is for kids, though. Like, hey, your parents are abusive, just
manipulate them.
If you're if you can figure out how to blackmail them, you've probably got it on board to be there. But
there you go. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take pictures of yourself naked.
Oh my god!
Right? And then you're going to want to say that. And then,
damn, that'd be a good bit.
Cut that.
Cut it.
In terms of its placement, though, I think like low C is where
low C is fine. Low C is fine.
Yeah,
it's not terrible. I think anyone saying like Goro, I feel sorry for Goro, because I feel like he has to kind of recreate himself every like fucking film. It's like a fucking apology, right? It's like, this is your first film. It's like, this is your first film working with your father. This is the first CG. This is the first television shows you did, but it was also CG. Here's your first CG movie. And it's like every time it's like a fucking apology. Like he's trying something. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. Let the man just make a film.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
Let him cook. And now we're at our final film.
We absolutely just watched it right now.
Yes, we all just got together and watched the Boy and the Heron, also known as How Do You Live? Which title do you guys prefer, by the way?
I prefer
How Do You Live?
How Do You Live?
I remember when it first came out, I was like, How Do You Live? But like Boy and the Heron is, at this point, I just use that one because I know, like, for CEO, like, the fucking CEO or whatever, fucking, it's better to be using the American title.
Yeah, that's something like Chris Stuckman. We watched. Like,
I completely understand why they're using The Boy and the Heron.
How Do You Live would not do very well, I'm sure, on searches, because it'd be like, well, you're going to get a bunch of contradicting messages in Google if you type it in.
That's also true. Yeah, like I think that was the funny thing with like the latest like Disney movie Wish, is that like the title is too vague. So when you type it in, it just doesn't even come up.
Yeah, I imagine you have to put like Disney's Wish or something.
Yeah.
Even then, it's like the Disney Make-A-Wish Foundation.
They fucked themselves. It's too vague.
Yeah.
What they should have done is they should have renamed it from How Do You Live to Y'all Live Like This. And that would have really got all the kids going.
Like this.
God, and then they should change the soundtrack to have I don't know, something a bit more contemporary, something you see on TikTok on maybe.
Yeah. Well, how old is Joe Hisaishi? He's too old.
90,
we need to get like I don't know. We need to get I don't know. Is SoundCloud Rap still a thing anymore?
Probably
I feel like SoundCloud Rap
is.
We need to get like Chief Keef. I don't know. I don't pay attention to music.
Yes, Chief Keef's seminal record from 2007. I'm sure that's going to be a hit with the kids. Maybe it is.
Why are all the tracks of the soundtrack only like 15 seconds long?
They're hot though. They are hot.
What did we think of How Do You Live then?
I think it's an interesting movie. I've seen it twice
now.
It
is. I've only
also
seen it once.
seen it twice.
Yeah, you two both saw it dubbed.
I've seen it subbed and dubbed.
Yeah, subbed and dubbed.
What do you think of the dub?
It was interesting watching it dubbed because it was almost like getting like a different perspective or experience, I guess. Where it's like I was looking at it because I was watching it dubbed. My attention was like on different things because I wasn't having to like pay attention to the subtitles.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to like watch it from like different perspectives and like different characters, like points of view and stuff. So it ended up being like like in some of the things that they did, like as far as like the ADR direction, like kind of changed things a little bit, not like drastically or anything.
I know some of the sound design was a little bit different at times.
Really? Did they make it less quiet? Because I noticed because I've only seen the sub version, and it's a very, very quiet movie.
Well,
yeah, it's an awful theater experience.
Like it's so quiet.
Yeah, because like, so when I went and watched it, I talked about this with Psy a bit when I watched it. My experience. What the fuck are these fucking dogs doing?
I keep hearing them in the background. Yeah. Why do they always do this? We were just talking at like the same volume about James Somerton's apology video.
Damn.
And now now they choose to bark as soon as we start hit record. Like I don't.
You made an apology video? It's a bit late.
Oh yeah. It just came out like an hour or two ago.
Is he like sorry? My entire career is based off other people's work that I stole.
Yeah.
Like, how did you told it? Oops.
You can't take that much responsibility.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sure.
We'll talk about that after this, I guess.
Okay. We're not.
Oh my fucking! I want to fucking shoot these goddamn dogs.
I don't know. Go tell them to get them to like shut up or something.
I can't actually hear them on the side, but it might be the Discord compression.
I can hear them a little bit, and if I can hear them, I know they're coming through on the mic.
Yeah. To be fair, there's also.
Oh, they come on the mic. I was gonna say they come on the mic even when you don't hear them.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you can hear them on the mic, then it's just like, yeah, the fuck.
I was gonna say my recording might be a little bit similar because I think there's some kids outside playing or something, and there's not much I can do about that. So
I mean,
screaming.
Noise cancellation usually. Oh yeah, because it's like 2:00 where you're at, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 2:00. If I can in the pool or something.
Yeah. My theater experience going to watch How Do You Live. It was a pretty packed, like it was pretty full theater. I mean, it wasn't like packed to the gills or anything, but like, it made me realize like how loud American movies have been for like the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Because like watching that, like I could hear basically everyone shifting their seat, everyone chewing their popcorn.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Everyone felt like they had to fucking comment on everything. Plus it's toward the end of the year, it's December, so like everyone's like sniffling and it's just like things I would never notice watching like a fucking Marvel movie were just like magnified because like there's so like just so quiet. Like you just hear like the footsteps. It's supposed to be like a very like toned down, very like personal film. And you just got some dude next to you being like, "Don't go in there. Don't go in there."
That's pretty good. I mean, I noticed there was something interesting between both showings because it was like the type of theatre I saw them in. So when I saw them on Critics Day, it was a pretty good little theatre in London. big
Right, it was
screen.
like
I was a
film
little too
festival
close to
crowd.
it, but like the sound design was so good in that little theater. Well, no, I wouldn't say it's little. It was a pretty decent sized theater, but like with the screen and the sound design, it was really, really effective. And I just saw it in a smaller theater to watch the English one, and like the sound design can't really pay into like it's nowhere as good. And some of the things that you mentioned there were similar. Like, you know, there was definitely people in the audience. There were some kids ish, like teenagers who were kind of bored at the back, kind of a bit murmuring. Some fucking old people at the front be like, I don't know if this is as good as the
Did you also like have the thing where it's like where like the sailor woman, when it's quote unquote revealed that she's the old woman that got sucked into like the dream world with the main character, did you have anyone being like, oh my gosh, I knew it?
No,
I knew it.
I didn't hear it myself because it was fairly sparse, because like during like most time people were working, so the only people there were like elderly and very young and teenagers. Got nothing to do. So it was a bit thin, but no, I didn't notice anyone really shocked about it.
Yeah, I saw it in a packed IMAX theater opening night. So yeah, although my overall theater going experience was a lot better than it sounds like Mumi's. Like that was basically the only time I was like, please be quiet. I mean, people like laughed. People laughed at like parts I feel like it's appropriate to laugh at, when like the dad is fighting all the parakeets.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's funny. Shit's all of them.
Yeah, like there's like funny stuff where it's like, okay, yeah, that's fine to laugh, but on the other hand, it's like, yeah, please.
I don't know, my theater laughed at fucking everything.
That's interesting. To be fair, actually,
like an old lady would be walking, and they're like laughing at this old lady walking. I'm like, it's not that fun. It's what the fuck. Like,
it's interesting you mention that, because even on Critics Day, so when I went to like the critic showing, so these people are supposed to like, you know what they're doing. Apparently, they all fucking laughed at awkward stuff. They were just like laughing at random stuff too. They were just like, I don't know, maybe because they thought it was weird.
Just laughing at like, I don't know, the horrific delivery room scene, and you're like, ha ha ha. Ha ha ha.
They were just, I think they were uncomfortable or something, because there were just moments where like it would be quiet. Like there's a bit in the Japanese version, which I think is a little more sparse, where he's told just to hold her stomach, and it just kind of goes on, and it's very quiet. I think they fill it a bit more in the English version, and everyone started. There was like an uncomfortable laughter coming. Like, why is he doing that? And it's like, I don't know. Don't know if it's that crazy, is it?
I'm just imagining this going through like the same like process Princess Mononoke went through when it got brought over to the US, where they're like, it's too fucking quiet. Can we put some music in here?
Yeah, luckily they fought against that, I suppose. But even so, the final ADR is a bit more full than the other one.
I think G-Kids is much more like, we'll just leave the movie as it is.
Speaking of that scene with like him holding her stomach, did you notice like the dub for I forget what her name is, the mom?
Yeah.
Not Nezuko or whatever. Not Sko.
Yeah, I think that's her name.
Did you notice like her delivery almost like it didn't come off the same as it did in the Japanese. Like it almost came off as like kind of like conniving in a way in this one.
I didn't really
like, cause like I guess like, so in the Japanese, like she came off very as like kind of like over eager but well meaning.
Yeah, she's pretty warm.
Where she's just like, yeah, feel my stomach. Yeah, she's kind of just like excited, and it's like the uncomfortableness is like coming from the situation of like obviously the kid's gonna be uncomfortable because he's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
So there was like that element there, but like she never came off that way. Whereas like in the English, it came off differently. Like her delivery, I guess, like where she's like, feel my stomach. Did you feel that? That's your brother. Like she didn't feel like, it didn't have that same kind of like gentleness or like,
yeah, I think it's
just like over eagerness.
Though it's been a while since I was in the Japanese, so it's hard for me to remember the specific cadence of it. I mean, my general perspective of it was that like I thought the dub was an interesting like comparison point, but I do think the Japanese overall is much better, I would say.
For sure.
Though I do think Robert Pattinson is definitely a highlight in this one. I think he's
Robert
so
Pattinson is like the universal point of praise for the dub.
Well,
he's so
Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, Dafoe did the good one. I think Bale was fine as well. He went very English, which I was surprised.
Yeah,
I guess
it was kind of weird because like his kid's doesn't have an accent.
Yeah, well, I think all three of them have a different accent, which was kind of what I was like. Should I care? Does that really matter? But like, it's like you got three different accents going on with his. It
was interesting.
Yeah, with Bale and his wife and him, the son being fairly different.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, Mark Hamill was good.
Yeah, Mark Hamill was alright.
Mark Hamill was good.
Okay,
he was an old guy.
It's funny because I looked up like the dub actor for Mahito, the main character, and I see this. I'm like, oh, they got a little kid. I scroll down. It's like, oh, they're 20 years old.
Yep.
Why is that their only picture?
I don't know why. Yeah, why do they?
Yeah, who exactly? Are they like a? I don't know. Maybe they just like maybe it's their first audition or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who this person is.
They're like a Broadway.
I guess.
Like
Are you afraid of the dark? I don't know what these things are.
I guess they're fairly young. I mean, he sounds fairly young. I don't think he did a bad job.
The takeaway from that was the dub was not really worth seeing outside of like a couple of. It's not a bad dub, but it's just like it's obviously that the Japanese was just better.
I'll probably check it out when it comes like on like home release, and I'll I might as well watch the dub now.
Yeah, you get to watch Robert Pattinson just. I don't know why I said it like that, but you get to watch Robert Pattinson just making some funny voices.
Do his best Willem Dafoe impression.
Yeah, it does that. But then he
stole my cadence.
He like changes the pitch so much as well. It's always kind of interesting to me because I think maybe more than the original person did. Like he kind of like vary where his voice is depending on the scene sometimes, especially when he gets caught out.
Yeah,
which was pretty interesting.
I did notice that
because I was like, because I was wondering if he was going to do a bit where like after he stopped trying to be menacing, that his voice was actually a much higher pitch register. I was wondering if he was going to do that, but not in the end. He kind of just flips around.
I remember I read somewhere that like Robert Pattinson also did like all of his lines in a day or something like that because I guess he just prepped like a ton. Yeah,
maybe. The thing I remember seeing is the ADR director being like, he just came with them with like a cassette tape and be like, this is what I'm going to do. And they're like, oh, okay.
Right, I think that's what I heard, yeah.
Yeah, he just sort of came with like a fucking cassette tape and had like weird old man voice. And he's like, this is me, this is what I'm going to do. And he's like, oh, okay.
He's like, I'd be like, that's your voice? How the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive for such a young man that he kind of was like embodying the spirit of an old fucking snake oil salesman.
Weird bird man.
Yes.
Gotta kill you.
What did we actually think about the movie?
I really liked the movie.
I think I do. I remember coming out of it and be like, I don't really know originally. I remember really enjoying the first half. I mean, once again, need another time because I feel upon rewatching it, I was kind of a bit like, yeah, I remember all this. Like, I don't know why I'm seeing it again. I was like, I'm just seeing it to refresh myself. Like,
yeah, it's definitely the most like difficult to grasp Miyazaki movie, I'd say.
Yeah, I think Hoba said it's like Miyazaki's Angel's Egg, which I was like, that's a pretty funny comparison.
Yeah, Chris Stuckman made that comparison as well. I think, Mumi, would you compare it to? Like, it's Miyazaki's Evangelion.
Oh yeah, it's like
interesting.
Between like the anti-escapism and then main character wanting to fuck his mom or something.
Well, no, it's mainly like it being a response to like a book, right? Like it's kind of like co-opting that, like, you know, Neon Genesis Evangelion is very much like a direct kind of challenge. So like the Bible is like the new gospel or whatever. Whereas like How Do You Live is almost like it's similar in a way where it's like it's taking that as like it's challenging a work with like a visceral kind of experience like Evangelion did.
Yeah, I read the book as well, and they're definitely quite different. Though I kind of see that as like a sentiment of like, I mean, like the movie is using it as like reference point because it's literally saying, yeah, this boy read this book. I don't know why the fuck he's crying. So I was like, oh, I don't know. Why the fuck would you cry? I was like, okay. But I suppose Miyazaki.
Book was just so bad. This was the last thing my mom gave me.
Yeah, this is the worst fucking book I've ever read.
It's so boring. It's like a fucking textbook, but they've rewritten it as a story. His uncle just goes on and talks fucking ever.
But it's interesting you said you liked the first half more because I liked the second half more than the first half. Because
I mean, they're different tones.
Yes,
I like both.
Yeah, well, I think that they complement each other really well.
I think in rewatching it, I can kind of feel how both kind of like blend into each other more so. I think when watching it originally, I was like, okay, now we're going into the Miyazaki side. Because I remember when I made a video about it, I made a joke about that. Because as soon as I was like a Miyazaki food scene, I was like, okay, now we're in the comfortable territory.
It's interesting you say that because the one thing that I feel like, the one Miyazaki thing I feel like was missing from this movie is that there's no like graceful flying scenes in the movie.
Oh yeah, I mean there's some falling scenes, I guess.
There's falling scenes. Yeah, the things that fly in the movie are kind of like jokey characters.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely flying creatures, but they're all kind of antagonists.
Yeah.
There's also no planes. Like you got like the canopies.
Well,
so like
it's funny.
There's not like a single plane.
Because planes are hard to draw. That's true. But I mean, they showed the little bits and pieces of it because there is a plane factory that's referenced.
Right, yeah. Planes are in the movie. But yeah, the planes aren't built. So it's kind of like a deconstruction.
Yeah, literal deconstruction.
Literally.
Or like, what would be the word before you actually construct it? Before construction. Pre-construction.
I don't know. Unassembled?
Yeah, unassembly. That's what this film is. Unassembled.
Unassembled. But like structurally, because like the way the movie is divided into two halves, basically, where you have like this very like, it's very normal. It's very kind of like almost like off-putting at the start, where it's like it's so like alien and uncomfortable.
It's very quiet, very sort of foreboding. Yeah. I mean, there was definitely a part I remember being in the cinema the first time thinking like, is this going to be like the Lighthouse kind of situation? Because like I was like, oh, he had a concussion, so I was like, oh, are they kind of going to do like it's all in his head? Because the bird's like fucking with him. Like, is the bird actually fucking with him? Is this like the Raven? Are we doing in that territory where like, is it actually? Because no one else has seen the bird fuck with him yet. So is he just like fucking deranged?
I did think about that again the second time too. I still think like there is an element to that.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting reading. Yeah,
there's clearly stuff that's not happening that he's like dreaming, and then there's clearly stuff that probably didn't happen.
Yeah, he's like merging these worlds because he's got these weird dreams where it's like, are these actually calling to him, or is this just his guilt manifest?
Right.
But the structure of the movie is, the first half is like is normal. And then the second half just flies like completely off the rails. It gets like really weird and abstract in a way that, Miyazaki really hasn't like done before. I mean, obviously stuff like, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, like his movies like can have weird things in them, but there's usually, it feels like there's like a mythology behind them. Whereas this feels much more dreamlike.
Yeah. And,
there's usually like an internal consistency that's missing in this.
Yes, because I feel like the dream world here, it's like almost like it doesn't matter, because like who's this bird king, who the Snow White, like all the sort of it's all kind of just like there, but it's like it's all going to fall apart anyway, so like what's the point of like establishing more beyond what we need? So
it kind of reminded me almost of like a one, it kind of reminded me like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, because the original Gene Wilder movie kind of follows that structure as well, where it's like the first half is like dry British comedy, and then like the second half is the fireworks factory. I
mean, you could
but
definitely
also like
say
the idea of
like a pocket, like Port Fantasy, isn't it? It's basically like the Port Fantasy starts in a very like mundane world.
Alice in Wonderland was another thing I was thinking of while watching this.
Yeah, it's Port Fantasy. Yeah, I mean, I've heard people talk about Narnia a little bit as well in terms of that.
Yeah.
Going along with the dream logic stuff, like there's a lot of times where things are just kind of like placidly just kind of accepted.
Yeah.
Like there's just like fucking like, oh yeah, well we gotta cut open this fish so that things can eat the guts so they can fly.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, okay. Like
it's like what are you gonna do? You got a gut and knife in your hand. What else are you gonna fucking do? Do it. We want to eat.
Like the fucking kid like starts digging a grave for that one stork, the Willem Dafoe stork, on a boat. Yeah. And it's just like, okay.
Those things that will definitely, those things that are definitely merchandise. The Wani Wani flying up to the sky. They're just being eaten by pelicans.
But they're also like souls of the children. So
that have not been born yet.
I mean, the sort of like side of that of like I don't know, like the symbolism of it is almost like a field day, because I'm just thinking like, what does that say? The pelicans eat them, so is that like abortion or miscarriage? And
but they're only eating them because there's no food left in the ocean. There's some, like I said, there's something going on there, but it's not immediately clear, I feel like.
Yeah, I think you could say that about the whole film. I think there's definitely a level of esotericness there where like I almost feel at times I'm like, is it this? And I'm like, no, I'm just picking at straws here. I once think I said that like this film was like if Miyazaki wanted to be truly naked, but then he changed his mind and put a cloak over him and ran into the mud. Because there are like parts where it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, Miyazaki's dad was a plane maker and had a factory, so it's like, I guess this guy is similar to Miyazaki's real father. Well, that's the assumption, and it's set during a period when he grew up, and set, there's also a fire. And it's like, okay, well, Miyazaki also went through fires when he was a kid during the firebombing. Though technically, looking at the film, it doesn't seem like this is a firebombing. Upon second rewatching, I don't think that's true, because it was a fire just in the hospital, which gives the implication maybe his mother actually burnt the hospital down, because I don't know why. Because she has fire powers later on in the film. So if there's supposed to be some esoteric connection to that, it might have been.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was another thing that was immediately obvious to me. It's like, you see that there's a character casting fireballs, and I'm like,
yes.
Oh, that's his mom.
Who could it be?
Who else could it fucking be?
Who could it be? Is it the woman that appears in the O'Hara animation sequence in Bowls of Flames?
That was shocking to me that they put that at the front. I'm like, okay, we're just scaring the normals right off the bat.
I mean, there's like 5 or 6 O'Hara cuts in this film. You can tell, like every dream sequence, I'm pretty sure is him.
They're very featured prominently as like a central pillar throughout the movie.
If you're gonna get someone who's gonna do dreamlike stuff, you might as well get the best.
Yeah. Which was something interesting I noticed in the credits is that, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it looked like there were far fewer key animators on this movie than like previous like Ghibli films I'd seen.
It's a similar thing. The problem is, I don't know if it's a fully credited list. I didn't. Because I saw the English and Japanese. The Japanese had like 23 credits, and I can't remember how many the English one did. I know like ones that we definitely know about. There's about 27 that I've seen that have been recorded. There could be more because some people could be uncredited. And of course, it's about the same on the in between. So it's not massively down there. It's a little bit smaller, but it might just be because of the. The thing is, at one point, Suzuki said something like having 60 animators, and people assume that might have been keys, but I think he was just fucking lying, and it was 30. So even 30 in-betweeners and 30 animators, which is not that different than what they usually have. Sometimes they're more than that, even. But yeah, it could be just because, from what I understand, the film was very, like, up and down in terms of, like, they'd be making it, and then Miyazaki's got to make a storyboard still, and then that means everything stops for a bit. And then when the storyboards are done, everyone starts again, and they start animating again when they've got their storyboards until that's finished. And then he's doing his storyboards, and then it's like that.
So basically your standard Miyazaki production, but I feel like time wasn't as much of a constraint on this one.
Yeah, so like I guess when they stop, they just stop, right? The animators aren't like looking for something to do. They just like they'll be in the studio, and then I guess they're not in the studio for a bit.
I don't think an 80-year-old Miyazaki can be pulling all-nighters anymore.
No, that's why they put the limits on, I'd say. Although it does sound like, at least behind the scenes, that he was actually... Because there was a bit where everyone was like, okay, he's definitely not doing corrections. And it's like, actually, no, he can't help himself. He's still trying. He just physically can't do it.
You motherfucker.
Yeah, so it would be like he would just have things where he would just not correct things. He's like, oh, yeah, I don't know if I like that, but I don't have the energy to correct it. So he just, he would just, then Honda would like maybe just completely redraw it instead if he wasn't into it.
It came out like right after when the movie was released that like everyone was saying that, this is Miyazaki's last movie. And he's like, no, he's still coming into the studio and doing stuff. So it's like...
Yeah, they had to... I think what it sounded like to me, and this is what they do at Ghibli, right? They were like, this film did not perform as well as we would have liked to in Japan currently. We are slightly changing our things. So now we're at the American festivals. We're going to start bigging up that Ghibli's not dead. Let's keep going. He's thinking of new ideas. Like, but nothing's on paper yet. There's no money down. There's no green lights. Right. But they're like, no, still going. He's still doing things. Getting the news cycle. Yeah.
Which I could very well see him be like that. It's very likely that I don't know if he can even live long enough to do another feature-length movie. Maybe some more like short animated stuff, but he'd probably die if he in the process of making another feature.
Yeah, there's an old quote from about 2011 where he literally says, "I'm probably destined to die making a magnum opus." So like, I think that's probably what will happen.
That's a very Miyazaki thing to say.
Yeah, well, he's got to keep busy, I guess. I suppose that's keeps him from being bored.
I mean, but it worked though as a marketing tactic. This movie's performed pretty damn well in the US.
Performed better than any Ghibli movie in the US. 25 million to right now, and it's still going. So like, I don't know how long it's going to stay in the theaters, but it could potentially stay all December, I guess, because nothing else is on.
Its theater run has been extended a fair bit.
It keeps getting extended,
and Godzilla -1 have been doing really well.
I saw it here. 25 million is actually really impressive. I think the top one in the past was Arrietty, The Burrows. That was about 19 million. So it's up there in terms of like, this is definitely better than any like solo Miyazaki's ever done. It doesn't surprise me.
This is the most expensive Ghibli movie too, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, in theory. I don't think they put down a number because they don't want to, but they say it is.
I mean, if that is the case, then it could very well also be the most like expensive Japanese movie in general, just because I think
it probably
previous record holder would have been Kaguya.
I wouldn't be surprised if nothing is more expensive than this, because who else could afford to?
Yeah. So I really like this movie. Because like for the first half, I'm like, okay, this is, it's a very like, withdrawn sort of like character drama, but I'm also struggling to kind of like empathize with the main character Mahito, because he's a very like reserved kid. I mean, understandably so, given that his mother died and then they move out to the countryside and his dad then marries his mother's sister. That's fucking weird.
It is pretty fucking weird. And I don't know how you as a kid is supposed to like deal with that idea. This woman who vaguely looks like your mother.
Within a year.
Yeah.
Within a year of his mom dying.
His dad is like going on there. I don't know if this is something that happened in Miyazaki's real life, because I know his mother died of TB at some point. But interesting.
I do like though that his dad is like very clearly like trying to do his best and take care of him.
He's also like very arrogant.
Yeah, he's not like an asshole.
Yeah, but it's not like
very
I've seen him like Only Yesterday, like the father in Only Yesterday, where he's just kind of like just reserved, doesn't say a lot, and then just smacks Taiko once.
I do think what's funny to me about some blusteringness of his father is how he kind of like sets up his own problem, because he's like there's all these poor kids, and his dad's like, wait until I see you get here in a fucking car.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, like, that's not going to hell.
No,
that's going to make it worse.
What happens day one, they fuck him up. And they all hate him. And they all have like, he has like an actual hairstyle, and everyone else has fucking shaved heads. So like, he got
that zoomer fade.
Yeah, he's got a zoomer fucking cut from being like, I mean, that went pretty fucking hard when he like slams his head. I was like, damn. Yeah. I was seeing that first time in the theater, and was just like, fucking hell.
Oh,
I came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, I was like, he's not fucking around.
Damn.
But he's running around. He's trying to kill this fucking bird. He makes like a makeshift bow and arrow. I'm like, okay, this is getting kind of interesting.
Yeah, I like the
And then I think for me, like the second half of the movie, because it becomes so strange, because we enter this sort of dream world, and I don't know what the hell's going on, and I'm kind of going on this journey with him. I felt like I empathized more with him in the second half. But in retrospect, I think it like
how
that contrast elevates both of them.
Because I noticed this a lot with our commenters when I talked about the film, is that there's a lot of people who like, I feel like instantly they just don't get it, because they're instantly just like, well, about the characters and the plot, and I'm just like, those are just not really what's important here. Like, I feel like you're kind of going into it wrong, because they're instantly just like, I don't resonate with this, and I'm just like, well, I don't know if it's supposed to be that kind of film, personally. It's a little bit more existential.
Yeah, well, what I appreciate about like the second half is that I feel like there's like a lot to like decipher there, and that's kind of what I enjoy about a lot of stuff like Angel's Egg.
Yeah,
or Evangelion.
I don't know if you're ever going to find a true answer, but I don't know if that's really the point.
But
I
it's
feel
interesting.
My only concern with it is usually just that what I see here is one dangerous thing in terms of how people try and read. I feel like people try and read Miyazaki too much into it, and they can't, because like it's too much of a cipher. There isn't enough here about Miyazaki's real life to actually give you any insight in terms of like nothing too concrete. Because I remember having this as soon as I got out, because I remember thinking this first time, because there's a lot of like references visually to all the other films in this movie. And I instantly always like, oh, is that supposed to be like, is there supposed to be some sort of poetry here about that? Is it supposed to be like a Lucas thing, like a poetry rhymes? Is it supposed to be like sort of like tying the bow, what he thinks might be his last film before he dies? Is this kind of like a reference to his career or something like? But then every time I'm like, no, none of those make sense. None of that actually is concrete enough to work. Because I
will say that there are moments that definitely feel like, not necessarily like overt callbacks, but kind of feel evocative of like previous stuff he's done.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's intentionally so.
Yeah. But in terms of, because like, I mean, like
the gazebo from Porco Rosso, literally in the film.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the obvious reading of the movie is that the old man, the great granduncle or whatever, is Miyazaki, and then the main character is Goro.
I wouldn't say Goro. It'd be his grandson.
Something along those lines, which I could see that.
Because Goro is 50 years old. I think it would almost be insulting to draw him as like a 12-year-old. He has a child himself. It would be like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? I'm 53 years old. I have my own children. I'm married.
So I guess the question becomes like, because like people have talked a lot. Like I know watching like videos about this on YouTube, it's always come back to like, oh, this is about Miyazaki's empire. it's all like the old man is just
Maybe.
Miyazaki and it's all about his empire.
Well, I think to put this in perspective, let's talk about the original book, because I think they're missing this point. The original book is also about an uncle who gives guidance to a young man trying to learn how to be a good man in society. So if Miyazaki be the grand uncle in this situation, well, this movie then would represent is the same message: how to survive in this modern world, which is dark and problemed and like grody and difficult and with trauma. Like, I think that's what he's trying to give them, is being like, you can do this, and then the answer is actually, oh, but I must simply make friends survive in this new world and find my own way. Even though it's hard,
you can like,
bad, I can do this.
You can escape in a fantasy, or you can like, face the real world essentially, which is also what like, what's her name? His new mother.
Yeah, maybe she seems as like a connecting point between those two, because she also seems to run away into this fantasy world.
Yes, that's the thing. It's because like there's like complications with her pregnancy. Her sister died, and then she married her husband. Yeah,
and she's noticing, I think, that like the son is not really accepting her, and I think that might be making her uncomfortable. That he's like completely just checked out.
Yeah, which then culminates in that whole delivery room scene where they both kind of
one of the best scenes in the film.
Where like Honda, she rejects him.
The animation director, I think he was the key animator in that scene. You can just
all the paper stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, my thing, I guess, like how I kind of interpreted a lot of stuff was, I think mainly the thing is like, I thought like the land of like the dead, the living kind of thing. I thought of that as more like a mindscape.
Yeah.
Like, because like you think like if you're dead, you can't really affect anything. You're just like a memory at that point.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you got like the Maui, what is the Maui Mau, whatever the fuck they're called.
Wani Wani.
The Wani Wani. Yeah. They're like formless because they're like future people, Suzuki. But they haven't like actually taken. So it's like the idea of like these future people.
Because you also see the people in the boats. The boats are always in the distance, but they never get any closer, or the ghosts on the boat. It almost is like he went to a form of purgatory, because he meets his dead mother there too. So you could probably read it that way, that this is almost like a purgatory for things that aren't quite alive.
Yeah, and then like the fact that like a lot of like the kind of Ghibli kind of references, quote unquote, take place here is like
dead ideas.
The fact
from
that
older years, many years ago. Yeah. Even one interesting thing here is you can kind of see some reference to a film that he didn't make but was heavily inspired by, which is The King and the Mockingbird, especially with the king, especially on towards the end, because there's a lot of surrealist painting-esque references here, which is also the same as King and the Mockingbird. But the whole bird society stuff and the sort of like gluttonous kind of like king character, these are all very like King and Mockingbird type events, that was a surrealist French animated movie from the I think the original version's in the 40s. They finished it in the 80s. But Miyazaki was really inspired by it, as well as the Toei team back in the day. So that's like Takahata and all his friends who eventually would go on to like form Ghibli. They were very inspired by it in their early works. And I was kind of wondering if that was like sort of the bow tying kind of came from that as well. That like this is almost like him looking back to things that inspired him before he was even a creator.
Yeah,
these sort of
that would make sense, because it's kind of like implied that the king bird, the goofy fascist bird, is like one of his creations in this dream world, essentially.
Oh yeah, I guess one that took over, I suppose. One maybe that went too far.
Yeah.
The thing that stood out, I think, with like the old man, the Mark Hamill dude, is the 13 stones thing. Because like when I went into it the second time, I was thinking about the Ghibli stuff, and I was like, 13 is like oddly specific number for the stones, and it's like it almost lines up with the amount of movies that Miyazaki's directed.
Yeah, how
like
many
not quite.
14.
I think it's 12.
Is this the 13th? I don't know.
Are we including movies made pre-Ghibli?
I was counting Castle Cagliostro, but I wasn't counting
Nausicaa.
I mean, I did count Nausicaa.
What about the show? He did make one show beforehand, though. So if we're counting like projects he's worked on, you could probably also put Future Boy Conan in there.
Yeah, Conan would make it 13.
So maybe that's the number. It's like 13 projects or 13 big projects.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he's not counting Hound, because that was like a He like stopped halfway through, and then they did other
Right,
stuff with
yeah.
it. Because
I guess that was also apply to the first Lupin season.
Yeah. Well, I guess he wasn't. He came in like late on that one. It was a co-thing, so I think he considers his first job as like director to be Future Boy Conan. He was more like layout artist, I think, on the Lupin stuff because he worked in cooperation with Takahata. But yeah, you could totally see those numbers roughly line up.
To me, like the stones felt like a very like overt route because like they're like, okay, it's a literal ivory tower.
Yeah,
that he is like maintaining essentially,
and it's falling apart.
It's falling apart, and he as a doddering old man just needs to like occasionally tap it in order to maintain it.
Yeah, well, looking at him that way, it makes sense because like all the movies aren't uniform, right?
No.
They're
right.
all just kind of just whatever. They're all different kinds of shapes. They're all different styles.
Yeah, they form on their own effectively through the. I guess you could see. I mean, it's kind of an interesting way of looking at it in terms of like these worlds aren't ones that he necessarily controls. Like he obviously didn't probably think, oh, yeah, I'm going to make a fascist bird. But like it feels like they're like it's a side product of like the process of creation.
Right.
You cannot control these things, which seems to be something Miyazaki constantly brings up. It's a very big thing in Nausicaa, especially the manga afterwards when they sort of like finally, spoiler that like the Olm are actually man-made, but like they are treated as like a natural ancient deity, but they were made by man. The idea that like even if they created them, they couldn't control them in the ecosphere. Like plants or something, when you grow, you might grow trees naturally, but eventually the roots will sort of spread and do their own thing to the point that you have no control of them anymore.
I don't know what the hell the stone means though. The giant stone, the floating rock.
Cool.
God, I don't know.
Like
they made it. He made it upset by going to delivery room. Why is the rock upset? Why is this? I don't.
I think Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I assume the upset thing has something to do with probably like religious study, like practice or something, like ancient religious practice. Like because it's like I guess the idea of giving birth in this world is very sacred. Hence why they protect the Wari Wari. And this is a real life form being formed, and I guess he sort of broke the ceremony, which I guess they were very content on.
But I think that's where like my admiration and enjoyment for the movie comes from, is that it is something that you can really like more than Miyazaki's other stuff. You can really like read into it and come away with your own interpretation. Whereas I feel like stuff like Spirited Away or Howls or
they're very set movies.
Mononoke. They feel very like, okay, this is very like, it's clear when you watch, at least less clear, but I still feel pretty obvious with something like The Wind Rises. It's like, okay, we're talking about animation here.
Yeah, yes, to some degree you could see it that way.
Yeah.
Well, you got all the previous movies like have like some kind of element of people just like reaching for things, right? Like talk about like Spirited Away is actually like some kind of allegory for like prostitution or something.
I don't know about that one.
Totoro being the death god and all that, like the shit that they're all reaching for. That's like basically in this movie.
Yeah,
it's like baked in there.
I mean, I guess you could make the joke that like that's the stuff that Ota King would like fucking latch onto, and Ghibli would like, please stop doing that. And they just
please stop doing it. Please stop.
So this film was made by Ota King, right?
I did read I did look up to see what Mamoru Oshii had to say about the movie, and he basically did not say anything about the movie, but then was just like, yeah, they know what they're doing with the no advertising policy. He was like, that was entirely Suzuki's idea. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. He didn't say anything about the movie. He was just shitting on Suzuki.
that's very true to him. I mean, it's funny because Suzuki's gave him a lot of money over the years. Like they've worked together quite frequently. Who funded Angel Egg?
This is probably
it was Suzuki.
Yeah. Oh shit!
One of his ideas.
This is probably like up there for me as far as visuals for me. A Ghibli.
I think it's a very interesting visual film, especially because I think one of the things I most admire about it is the team behind it. Having Honda as like the actual like head animation director makes things far more interesting because he's far more likely to give artists their kind of like individual credence. So like you get a lot of like weird cuts, and even though I'd say it's relatively uniform to what it needs to be, but like it's not afraid of like just doing a scene that completely stands out. Like if that's Ohira's scenes or even his scene. These things that really stand on their own.
Yeah.
Even like the shots that are like not necessarily like a Sakuga cut or something. Like
there's a lot of
the backgrounds
subtlety.
in this.
I mean,
Yeah, they like have like a. I don't want to say like a wider. They have like a different color palette than a lot of.
It's very
Ghibli
green,
stuff.
but that's probably because the colorist died. So the last colorist died in the last film. So this is the successor of the color department. It's a very green-brown sort of aesthetic. In that, like, it's not just green in the grass, but it's green on everything. There's a sort of like green lighting, a sort of mold and feel. But then I guess later on in the film, you get a bit more warm. I think when you get to like the party at the end and stuff, and even like any of the surrealistic, they kind of set themselves quite well.
I mean, there's a part,
think of like the sunsets.
Yeah.
The part where Mahito like wakes up in like a black room essentially, and all you see is like that trapezoidal entrance. I was like, oh,
nice.
Okay, this is something I've not seen in a Ghibli movie before.
Yeah, and I
like,
noticed the photography director in this is the same as the one on Shin Eva, and I think they're using some similar kind of like lighting effects. Which I noticed because this film still relatively in the Ghibli area, but I do think the background's maybe a little bit more contemporary, but also with that lighting effect. They got a very subtle lighting sort of like bloom and blustering, and sort of like the way they sort of do that in the scene is just a little bit higher up than they have been in the past. More technical.
But I still think, beyond like all like the abstract imagery and trying to like figure out what the movie, like, what all the different like weird shit means, I still feel like it's a pretty like straightforward like coming of age story.
With absolutely. How it fits in what How Do You Live is basically as well as finding your path in the world, and the way in which they do that is different. But I think they come to the similar conclusions in the end. I mean, he basically becomes a man by the end, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's like kind of like, I really like how like the movie just kind of like ends with him like walking off, and then the room is just empty for like a few seconds. Yeah,
so it's all she needed.
Where do we want to place it? I'm going to be honest. It's been so long since we've placed all these other movies. I don't fully remember our rationale for any of these.
The rationale doesn't matter. It's fine.
It doesn't. It's just completely superficial.
I mean, I could be happy. I could be happy pretty high if we feel it, depending on how we're feeling. Because I think the longer I spend with it, probably I would end up enjoying it quite a lot. Put it very high up, just because I think there's a lot to sort of, like you said, there's a lot to sort of look into and just sort of see and feel through. I think that the experience of that is pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like we could just be like a fucking hack and just put it in fucking S tier, because it's the new thing. It's the new thing. They're always the best thing.
We put it in the new hotness.
But no, I generally do feel like it's high. Like for me, it's like
interesting accomplishment. Even like just from a technical perspective, that like it has such a scale to it. Like the set pieces, the amount of drawings they needed to do, and knowing that they all had to do them on fucking paper, I feel so fucking bad for like do that shit, because apparently he was like he had to do all those bird scenes on paper because Miyazaki doesn't get how computers work. So you should do it with a tablet and you copy and paste stuff over, just sort of like give yourself some
good lord
leeway. And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Do it on paper.
Do it on paper.
God. I feel very similarly to Psy, where it's like I think this just is like in my strike zone. Like this is just kind of made more for me than most of Miyazaki's stuff.
I can totally feel that. This, I'm more on the esoteric side of things. I mean, my fucking top 9 anime or whatever. When I did a vague one, I was like, the little weird esoteric anime.
As long as it's like not getting lost up its own ass, I'm all for it.
I think this one's pretty clear.
You can get too esoteric.
Yeah, I think it had a pretty clear thread, which was that like get your new mother back, right? Save her.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Save your brother. Leave. That's kind of like that, and then everything else is it's fine. That thread keeps the bear of the story going, no matter how weird it gets.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, this is like my second favorite Miyazaki movie. It's like top 5 Ghibli. So,
yeah, it's up there with like Totoro and Spirited Away for me.
I think it's really interesting, and I think I said in the video I made about it, but I think it'd be an interesting one just to see how people discuss it over the years, especially when he passes. Yeah, just seeing how the conversation changes over time.
It's definitely one that I feel like I could derive more from on rewatch, which is very funny because Miyazaki notoriously hates rewatching movies.
Oh, well, especially his own. But I mean, I don't blame him. Like, if you spend that long of your life making something, why the fuck would you want to watch it again?
Why would you ever want to see it again?
You've seen it 1,000 times. You lived it.
Every frame is burned into his head because he had to correct.
He checked them. Yeah, so he's seen them all. But I do remember hearing, at least with this film, what I thought was interesting is Honda apparently is a huge fan. The guy who did the animation direction on the film, he was like, apparently, like, he loves how the film came out in the end. He's really, really happy with it, really proud.
Should be.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people on the staff were like really happy with how it turned out in the end.
But yeah, I'm good with it being S tier.
Fucking put it on the S tier. It's good for your video.
Let's do the SEO, baby.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's go.
It's the best Ghibli
newest movie.
It's the best.
The best Ghibli movie.
It's the best one because it came out yesterday. Maybe
the best of you.
100 years, Miyazaki. Let's go. Wait for the next one. It'll be even better, I bet.
Put that motherfucker on life support. Get his brain into a jar like Disney.
He can make content forever. Never let him stop.
Never let him stop.
We're gonna put him in a time.
We've got to train. You've got to train an AI on Miyazaki's brain so we can just generate. We can just generate movies for Ghibli for however long.
Like that's just a dream come true for him. Like,
yeah, he's like, oh, thank God, you mean I could just work forever? Yeah, okay, let's go.
I don't have to sleep. I don't have to eat.
Well,
let's go.
I'm a robot now. That's fucking epic. I think he hates robots, but now he's gonna be like, actually, I don't think I mind robots anymore. My robots are good, actually.
Robots are cool.
I'm like that robot. Oh no! All they need to do is give him a body like one of the robots he drew, and he'll be cool with it. I think it's fucking epic.
Oh,
he's like, I'm the robot from Laputa now.
They can put him in the robot that they have in the fucking Ghibli museum at the top.
We'll give it an extra.
He just go for like meet people.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hello, I'm Miyazaki. I am currently making Laputa 2."
Laputa 2. But yeah, I think this was a good tier list. I think it's funny that Porco Rosso is so high.
Oh yeah, I just noticed.
I mean, I'm fine with that being like number one here. I think that's probably the movie that we're all like unanimously like as positive.
Yeah, I fuck with it.
I don't know. Yeah, any of you have any qualms? I mean, I'm not happy.
We're just never happy.
I want to kill myself.
Well, because there's that
fucking Kiki's delivery service over Yamada's. God damn it.
Fucking Spirited Away is A tier.
Only A tier.
It should be S for Spirited Away, right? I think that's what I did on my list. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be S because it starts with an S.
It's alphabetic.
It's gonna be great with the thumbnail. We just put it in reverse chronological order, and so Earwig's in the top.
Yep.
Yeah, it's triple S.
Yep, we're gonna put it above like Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away and stuff. It'll be great. Yeah. It was a good tier. I think it was a good tier list.
Yeah, I mean, I don't give a shit about tier list actual placements. I think so. It's just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to contest anything. Like
none of this matters.
Yeah.
None of this.
Nothing really matters.
The real thing is, I don't know. Hopefully, based on how this video is edited into 7 different parts, because it's been 3.5 hours.
Oh god, yeah, fucking hell, yeah. Well, that's lucky we recorded earlier than I thought we should. Yeah, because in the middle of fucking. I mean, the only thing I'd say about it is just about like measurements. In that, like, is there anything you want to move up to like the S tier just to sort of balance it out a bit more? Just the shape, or are you good with the shape it is?
Or
do you want to move down to C? Because we have a huge like chunk of A B. I'm not really bothered about it. I was just curious if anyone.
Not really. I think fundamentally, I don't think we need to go for like a bell curve distribution at the end of the day. When I think most of the stuff Ghibli makes is pretty of quality.
Yeah, I think it's just about like how you fluctuate what is a or B for Ghibli, right? But I mean, I'm fine with it as it is. Though obviously I'm going to fight. I mean, if I was going to fight for anything, it'd be like Spirited Away.
Well, I think it's important that when we leave it as is, then people will argue with us in the comments.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they'll be very angry. Then again, I mean, sure they'd be angry at every of these fucking.
There's no way for us to win this.
Everyone has like dramatically different answers, usually outside of a couple free.
Yeah, but this is the ultimate tier list.
This is the ultimate Ghibli tier list.